Well, hello and welcome back to Lords for day 2, match 2 coming up here, and we're back into the men's inter-services T20 competition. Of course, we've just seen the UCAF women up against MCC, and now we'll get to see the reigning champions, the Navy. They're taking on the Army first, but yesterday Cy Hunter spoke to their captain Finley Marks. But ahead of that, let's have a look at highlights from Tuesday where the RAF beat the Army down in Hampshire. Highlights there from the RAF's win against the Army, which took place at Utility Bowl in Hampshire on Tuesday. But like I said earlier, it is the Navy's turn now. They've got 2 matches to go, and first up they're up against the Army. But yesterday Cy Hunter spoke to their captain, Marine Finley Marks, at training.
How's the mood in camp ahead of what's an amazing occasion, as you know, every year?
Yeah, really good. Obviously we won it last year, so looking to retain the title and win both games this year. Yeah, mood's good. Playing at Lords. Had worse days at work, sorry. Yeah.
Absolutely, and obviously coming in as defending champions, has there been any semblance of a little bit of pressure on your shoulders because of that, or have you just been feeling actually the pressure's on the other guys to kind of take us on tomorrow?
No, I don't think there's any pressure on us. It was like the first time we won it in 16 years, I believe, last year, so I think the pressure's on one of them too. So yeah, looking forward to it.
and you were there in Southampton as well to check out the other two in their match. Interesting game, of course, and the RAF looked in control throughout. What did you make of what you saw in front of you?
I don't want to give too much away. No, both teams look good. Obviously, the RAF came out on top, but yeah, we've got a couple of plans that hopefully will work. But if not, game of cricket, and we'll try our best.
As you say, without giving too much away, Adam Fisher the other day said that he feels that your three fairly well-matched teams obviously makes for a great tournament and a very competitive one too.
Yeah, definitely. No fish well, just being a tour Sri Lanka with him. Yeah, he's probably playing a few mind games and stuff like that. But yeah, no, looking forward to it.
And just run us through the makeup of your squad then, your team for tomorrow if possible, but certainly the squad, a bit of blend of youth and experience in there too?
Yeah, definitely. We've got a few lads that have been here a few times before. I think we've got one or two lads making their debuts here. And I've been here for a couple of years, a few lads have been here for a couple of years, but yeah, we look good.
What's it like for you pulling on that shirt as skipper this year? How's that been? How much fun have you had?
Yeah, it's a good change. I did a bit of it last year when previous captain was injured, so it's not been new, but yeah, it's been exciting and obviously an honour to captain the Navy.
Nice to have Ben Johnson alongside, obviously a man who lifted that trophy last year, and you guys, those pictures of you celebrating here as well. What's it been like having him too in terms of that leadership group? Yeah,
it's been good. We had a leadership group anyway, which is me, Beach and Brendan Shredder, who's the vice captain now anyway. So there's not been too much of a change. It's just kind of been, last year he made the final decision, this year I've made the final decision, so it's pretty much been the same as last year, to be honest. Yeah, it's been good.
And how long have you been having that countdown to playing here at Lord's? How do you put into words just what it's like to step out there onto that wicket?
As a very amateur cricketer, I don't think there's any words that I could put into playing at Lord's. Obviously, it's one of the best grounds in the world, and it's an absolute honour.
Brilliant. And what would it mean to you to defend that title?
Oh yeah, I mean a lot of things. Yeah, hopefully we can. At the end of the day, it's 2 games of cricket. We've got to win 2 games of cricket. So yeah, simple as that, to win 2 games of cricket.
Well, the players are out. Obviously, they're keen to go, so you don't need to hear any more from me. Let's join our commentary team, led by Simon Hunter, and he's joined by John Knighton and RAF captain Adam Fisher.
Old Father Time watching on at this most famous of grounds, the home of cricket, as the defending champions enter the men's inter-service T20 competition this year for 2025, winning the toss and electing to field first. The Army having been defeated by the Royal Air Force on Tuesday. Well, they may have been hoping to try and chase today and big up that run rate as much as they could. Interesting as well with the selection. Openers Rayshawn Lewis and Stefan Gabriel. The effervescent character Gabriel speaking to us earlier in the week, saying he's delighted to get going in these inter-services. Fairly inexperienced at Army level. Absolute gun batsman, as we saw the other day against the Royal Air Force, hitting his first ball for 6 in that defeat. A bit of pace with the ball too. It'll be Rayshawn Lewis to face up. Ben Johnson, former skipper, very well-known player, of course, across UCAF ranks, to get things going for the defending champions, as the umpire signals we're good to go. And first ball comes, and a bit of swing there, straight out to point, and good aggressive fielding there as well from the Navy side who watched that match the other day. And a great win for the Royal Air Force. Great to be joined as well by their skipper, Adam Fisher, who's alongside. Great to have you with us. And, well, a mouth-watering prospect here in store between these two sides.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Amazing view up here in the media stand. And, yeah, looking forward to watching the cricket. 2 good teams.
Yeah, different view, of course, from what you're accustomed to when you're out in the middle every time. And, yeah, the Navy, of course, watching your match on Tuesday, and you must have been delighted with how you were able to control the game for the most part too.
Yeah, we played some good cricket, to be honest. We executed a lot of nice plans, and I think the Army probably weren't at their best either. I think they were a bit frustrated with that, and might see a bit of reaction here, I would have thought.
Yeah, a bit of movement that Johnson's getting so far. He's, yeah, wow, that's a beauty. Absolute beauty there past the outside edge. Stefan Gabriel just gesturing as such as well. Welcome back, John Knighton too. It's been a great day so far, and the second of these 3 matches.
Yeah, thanks very much indeed, Si. Yeah, and I think what we've seen so far is the ball is definitely swinging. It certainly was the in-swingers that we saw from the the MCC earlier, and already we're looking at this now, aren't we? And seeing what Johnson's able to do here. Fantastic.
Another absolute beauty there. Just shaping past that outside edge. Stefan Gabriel not able to do too much with that. Of course, shaping the ball away from that short boundary on the leg side for the right-hander in the grandstand here at Lord's. Johnson again, and that's absolutely wonderful. They're appealing, and that's gone. What a wicket first up.
Start.
First over for Johnson. And Stefan Gabriel, Dangerman, well, he's gone. Very impressive first up with the ball from Ben Johnson.
Well, I'll tell you what, Adam, that's not the start that the Army would have wanted in this game, as they try and avoid the wooden spoon.
Yeah, absolutely not. That's not a great start. I think two lads that are opening probably haven't done it that much this season. Looking to try and be positive early, but it's not quite as easy when the ball swings around and nips around. It's a totally different game to maybe whacking a bit further down the order. So obviously Ben Johnson's managed to find an early wicket there, which is massive for the Navy. That
was a fantastic delivery, wasn't it? And you know, just played into the hands, really.
Yeah, it really did. Putting the Army under pressure immediately. They've been under pressure coming into this match in tournament terms, as we discussed at the top. And Kadisporus coming in at 3. Well, it's the start the defending champions would have been hoping for, as the sun tries to poke through here at Lord's, but still some atmospheric conditions allowing that ball to swing clearly.
Big day for the Navy as well here. They haven't won at Lord's for the last 15 years. Obviously they beat the Army last season. That was at Middleton-on-Sea, and that was a victory for them. So they're coming in off the back of a victory in T20 against the Army, but it's 15 years since they actually won here at Lord's and against the Army. So that's a big one for them.
That's a phenomenal stat, by the way, John.
And he's out.
He's out. That's another wicket.
That's another wicket gone.
Straight to Ben Johnson.
Oh, what a disaster for the Army.
And jubilation for the Navy. Just look at those fielders crowding around the man who took that catch, and they're absolutely delighted.
So the two openers are gone with 1 run on the board. Who would have expected this? I'm sure you wouldn't have expected this one, Adam, at all like this.
Nah, I did think it was a high-risk strategy to go to 2 people who haven't opened. Personally, knew there would be a reaction, but it can go one or 2 ways, and it's gone the other way.
Yeah, we see there the Navy, as the MCC did in the first of today's matches, just keeping that ball well away from that short boundary and moving that ball away. Johnson did in the first over, and well, that's absolutely fantastic stuff.
It was a great catch from Johnson, because I don't think he wouldn't have been expecting such a high hit, as such almost a slog right from the word go. His concentration was so high, and it literally went straight into his arms, really. But no, he did really well with that catch, and some terrific early bowling for the Navy here. As I said, it's really big day for them, and they must now sense, with this early start, obviously things can change very quickly, but they must sense they've got this opportunity to win here on the hallowed turf for the first time in such a long time.
Wicketkeeper Brendan Strether up to the stumps as well. Ball just tickled off the pads. Think about the single, but go back. Sporus joined by Liam Fletcher.
But you can see the spring in the step, can't you, of the Navy players immediately.
Just patted back down the wicket. And I guess another thing, Adam, of course, is the benefit of being able to watch your game. All the Navy guys sitting on the banks down at Utilita Bowl Nursery Ground and seeing what they're up against today.
Yeah, you do learn a lot from watching the other teams, how they line up, what options they're taking up top and things like that. So yeah, it's quite interesting to watch. Navy have gone with Ben up top, swinging it.
There's Graham Wiseman on strike.
Another dot, which is starting to build on the Army here. And yeah, so yeah, Ben swinging it up top and then gone for a spin at the other option, the other end, which is always going to be a strong option down the hill, I think.
Matthew Walton darting these in. And Wiseman just tucking that off his pads. A fairly easy single in the end.
He is the sort of player you want when you're up against it, is Graham Wiseman. He's been there, seen that, got the T-shirt, hasn't he, over the years as Staff Sergeant Wiseman.
He's a brilliant player. We went out to Sri Lanka as a UCAF side in the winter, and he hadn't played for 2 years. Picked up a bat as we flew out, basically. And first game he ended up with I think it was about 105 or 60 balls.
Yeah, handy to say the least. Yeah, another wide here. Sporus just taking his time to see what Walton is doing with ball in hand. Set off spinners, moving that off his pads, but the fielding full of intent here, the Royal Navy. You can just see that in the body language as well, and chirping away. And that's a very good over once again. Second over done. 4 for 2, the Army, and right up against it from the off.
Important next couple of overs then for the Army to just try and re-establish something in here, but when you've got Ben Johnson now starting his second over, and that swing that we saw, the fabulous outswing in his first over, well, who knows whether he can carry that on. And it's going to be an interesting challenge now for the Army, just to try and re-establish themselves in this game.
Johnson in once more. Wiseman, and past the outside edge. It looked mighty close once again. Just how difficult, Adam, is Ben Johnson, a bowler, to face. He always seems to find, or certainly from our perspective, seems to be able to find that bit of movement when you're playing against him.
Yeah, he's a good bowler. He can swing it both ways. I think you'll see Graham look to hit him to third man here with a little late cut.
Yeah, just trying to give himself a bit of room, actually moving across there. Wiseman.
Giving us a wide.
Just Johnson going wider, and unfortunately for him that time, the umpire signalling it as wide.
Extras are the top scorer at the moment.
Johnson again. Oh, it's absolutely beautiful bowling from Johnson. Just curling it round that outside edge.
He needs to get a first slip in here. You can find one from square leg. It's definitely worth it with what he's doing.
It seems a luxury, doesn't it, in T20, as we see through the years, getting slips in, but the amount of movement, as you say, look at that. Again, a little straighter this time, and defended back up the wicket, back to the bowler. Johnson turns at the top of his fairly short run up, and Wiseman trying to do what he can by advancing a little down the wicket, but to no avail this time. Johnson will be happy with that. Johnson, skipper, of course, last year, hoisting that trophy. Finn Marks this year. Finley Marks, he's been part of that leadership group for some time. And nice cut off the back foot there. Wiseman getting it just behind backward point gully region. Just a single.
6 for 2 then, out of the first overs here, the first 2 overs. Just approaching the end of this third over.
It's a tantalising boundary, isn't it, that, as Sporus looks up. Just no opportunities really yet to try and utilise it. That's gone through his defences. How is that missed? Johnson will be thinking. It seems to have beaten the inside edge.
Well, the Navy certainly got their tails up.
I hope no one's tuned in for boundaries so far.
Just thinking that the members of that crowd in the grandstand will be thinking we've turned up for a day of bumper cricket, which it has been so far, but only a couple of catches for them in the crowd.
Yeah, the UCAF women only managed 3 boundaries in their entire 20 overs, and they were all on the long boundary side of this Lord's ground. It cost them in the end.
Walton back in. Oh, lovely flick off the pads by Wiseman. And good, of course, Adam, on Tuesday, that Utilita Bowls nursery ground, that teams were trying to replicate the dimensions that you would face here at Lord's with that short boundary.
Yeah, it was very similar actually. It was very similar ground size-wise, which is good. Good preparation. Down the wicket and over the top.
Not quite got hold of all of that, but they pick up a couple as they race back to complete the runs.
I think you might see Graham Wiseman targeting the area where everyone's sort of sat at the moment. if he gets another chance in this over, because they're going to know they need some boundaries here.
Walton in again. Darted in, and a huge appeal there from Matthew Walton.
Umpire doesn't want to know.
Look close.
Not interested, the umpire, on this occasion. It's not giving the ball too much air, just seems to be darting it in, doesn't he? Very economical bowler. Sporus trying to open up the angles there. Just a single yet again. So keeping a firm lid on this, the Royal Navy. Trying to get down Wiseman and get that sweep working. Seen too many sweeps today. Saw a ramp earlier on, which only went as far as helmet of Francesca Sweet, who played beautifully this morning. And again, Walton. There's not much they've been given the Army batsmen. Not much to work with, and at the end of the third over, and the fourth over, beg your pardon, 10 for 2 is the score.
Well, the Navy have certainly got the Army under the cosh at the moment. They simply out bowling at the moment, and that's the key, isn't it, to success? Keep the line and length and deny the opportunity, play to the field, which is what they've been able to do.
Yeah, the Navy have bowled accurately, and the Army have been a little bit passive really, and allowed them to bowl there. Hasn't really looked much of a change in plan at the moment.
Johnson again. Advancing down the wicket and lofting that, and that's well, it's going to land safely. A couple of bounces to the man on the boundary. A couple of runs for Sporus.
It's probably the first time anyone's used their feet to Ben Johnson so far. With the keeper stood back, it seems a decent option.
I guess you know, it's as Johnson comes in once again. Oh, and absolutely mullered that straight to Sporus, and a baseball shot rather. Past the umpire, and 4 runs.
The first boundary for the Army, and it's come in the 5th over.
Nice position, Adam, I imagine, for you guys, having won that match, of course, on Tuesday. Been able to have a little look here. I mean, you're fully aware, of course, of the threats the Navy pose, but nice that you know you've got that part in that finale later. And see what happens here. Batsmen just trying to get themselves going. Yeah, and a word on Ross Diver as well. Special day for him. He wasn't needed in the end in terms of the batting side of things, but 50 caps for Royal Air Force on a special day.
Yeah, it just demonstrates the commitment to Royal Air Force cricket, and you don't see all those days when it's Tuesday morning down to London to play 2 games.
There's the ramp that comes out, and he's got that over fine leg. Wonderful shot over the ropes, 4 runs.
So they've just taken a little bit of time to assess and choose which options to take, and it's worked well for them in this over. So if they can have a good 6th over, maybe they're not going to be too far behind on the power play. But at the moment, you take 21 for 2 as the Navy.
Yeah, the RLC man has quickly moved his total onto 18.
Oh,
going for it again, and that's going for another boundary.
They all count. Up towards the pavilion. And, rattling into those BFBS scoreboards, or I should say advertising boards as well. It's great to have you with us wherever you're watching from today. BFBS Forces News YouTube channel.
It's the first time the 3rd man boundary has actually seen a ball go past it today.
I think so. Wiseman this time trying to slog sweep, ball a little too full. And the end of another Ben Johnson over. 26 for 2 the score after 5. The Army.
So Adam, from your point of view watching this, how valuable is it for you to see what's going on here with the Navy and the sort of tactics they're employing early doors?
Yeah, definitely. The biggest thing I'll probably take from this first 5 overs is how much it's swung from this end. It's swung a long way, so yeah, that's good to see. Looks like Walton from the far end's bowled really nicely. He's very straight with straight fields and stuff, so that's clearly worked for them this season. seen the Army trying to adapt their game a little bit and put them under pressure. So I think this pressure that the Army are looking to try and put them under, you'll see quite quickly whether poorer balls come or whether they can keep the lines and lengths.
Wilton, that's the umpire, and that's gone straight up in the air. And
That's going to be out.
A catch.
It is.
The third wicket falls for the British Army. It's Wiseman, 26 for 3, and they're in a whole heap of trouble now, the British Army. That run rate keeps decreasing, and well, they're right up against it, against the Royal Navy side, who look right up for the challenge, just prowling in the field. Been very tight.
It was a great take that from Samuel Hewitt there from 40 Commando. It was a brilliant, because it seemed to be sort of weaving around in the air before it came down, so he had to make sure that he was exactly in the right place. He took the catch superbly.
Yeah, when those catches are taken, I guess they're made to look easier than they are, aren't they, Adam? And it's one that was nicely taken there. Going back to your victory on Tuesday, and just how much in control your batsmen looked. Tom Shorthouse and Luke Hansford really steered that innings beautifully, and nice for you to hit the winning runs too.
Yeah, those two batted beautifully. It was a great partnership. Batted with minimal risk, but still took attacking options throughout. Scored at a really good rate. I think the Army got to the point where it didn't really know what options they could take against them. So credit to them and how they played. Obviously, Tom's been a quality player for a long time, but I think he's getting better and better. And Luke was looking for an option to be able to get a bit further up the order this season, and yeah, he took that beautifully and played really nicely, and we know how good he is. So yeah, it was a really pleasing performance, that, in partnership.
Well, the Army in big trouble here, 26 for 3. And any members of the British Army watching probably weren't expecting this, but great performance in the Navy so far.
Yeah, and skipper Jay Boynton has joined Lasporus at the crease, the captain out in the middle of a little bit of a crisis for the Army.
Just a shout out from me for Jay. It's nice to see him out there at number 5. He's a quality player, and I think there's a chance that he might not play in T20 from next year onwards, so it might be the last time for a little while. I'm sure we can try and convince him to come back at some point, but yeah, it'll be sad for people watching to not see Jay Boynton, because he's an ever-present, and he's an absolute quality cricketer and an even better bloke as well. So
number 1 really on the career batting and bowling charts for the Army, and 21 innings so far. He scored 430 runs so far before today, with a terrific performance with the bat. Also pretty handy with the ball as well, with the bowling as well, with 61 overs completed in T20 for the British Army, and an incredible economy rate of 5.85. Again, thanks to Richard for these excellent stats, which really help us to show really how important they are. And a certain A.M. Fisher is doing pretty well in the records as far as the RAF are concerned too, for batting as well.
Absolutely. Yeah. 29 for 3 the Army after 6 overs. Yes, thanks, as you say, to Richard Isaacs for those brilliant stats as Nathan Hill gets ready to join the attack. And well, just adjusting the field there as well. Interesting to see who's patrolling that short boundary.
Very much a team game, of course. How often do you pay attention to your own individual performances, your own individual stats when it comes to this?
On appeal there, and looked as if it was going down leg.
I'm not a big one for stats personally. Get a lot of joy out of the team. If I'm contributing to the team, then I'm happy with it, but I'm not a big, particularly one on personal stats. I know some people drive them and stuff, so good on them.
Nice punch from Boynton down towards long on.
But it is an honour. You know, if you've done well or you've played a lot of games and stuff, then you know it's obviously a lot of respect for all the people who've played previously and what they've done and stuff. So it's nice to be able to contribute to those records as well. And at some point I'll be sat in the crowd enjoying the cricket.
Sporus looks to rock off the back foot. Put that through to the sweeper out there.
That's a bad run.
Oh, that was close to a run out there.
Looking as if they're obviously trying to bump that run rate up. But
got no choice, really, have they?
Taking a few chances, absolutely.
Run rate just short of 5 and over at the moment.
Yeah. Hill comes in again. And losing his shape a little bit there, I think, with Sporus. Lovely flat throw as well. Johnson out towards the boundary. You mentioned team there, Adam. It seems a very close-knit unit that you have. And, you know, sort of well-gelled team.
Yeah, definitely. Like, it's very much an individual sport, it's cricket, because it's a batter and a bowler, but I think you'll look like teams are often the most successful, like a good strong team. So yeah, that's kind of what we're based upon, and everyone trying to bring their value to the team. Obviously we've not had a whole load of success in quite a while, so yeah, just trying to do the basics really well, and hopefully that gets us pretty close. And we've got some special players really in Tom and others as well, that really can change games. So
Ball goes aerially, and out
going to be out
on the boundary.
Oh,
and another catch is taken. Fourth wicket goes down. 34 for 4, and more scenes of ecstasy for those Royal Navy fielders.
Well, it was a brilliant take there, and the Army in big trouble here now. And the more this goes on, the more is going to rest on the shoulders of a certain Jay Boynton, who is still there. He's only on 4, but the Wiseman, that's a really disappointing wicket for him to go, wasn't it? And also, obviously, the disappearance now of a man who was just getting himself really into the game. And I think that Keddy Sporus will be really disappointed with that shot.
Yeah, just the ball bouncing a little bit on him as well as he went for that sweep. And Denzel James comes to meet his captain in the middle. Powerful hitter, very good batsman. Guy, Adam, that you know well too.
yeah, he's got into the UCAF side in the last sort of 12 months. Serious talent, lovely bloke as well, really good lad, and yeah, he's got the ability to be devastating, but he's got quite a lot on his hands here to work with, especially. But Jay at the other end, left hand, right hand, they look like they're getting a bit obsessed with that short boundary at the moment, so I'm guessing that they're feeling a bit under pressure.
Boynton uses his feet and goes inside out, down towards long off boundary, down towards Ben Johnson there near the pavilion. 35 for 4 at the moment, the Army, after just over 7 overs. So out of the power play overs, Walton 2 for 11 off 3.1 overs. Very good bowling performance so far from him.
Another great catch there from Daniel Robbins, by the way.
Yeah, it was a good catch. I thought he misjudged it actually, but he was safe hands, looked like bucket hands, to be honest with you.
Forcing that ball away. James getting off the mark. Walton doing a very good job here for his side with the ball. And looking to move that away on the leg side, Jay Boynton, and not where he intended, but he'll pick up the run nevertheless. Things getting a little darker overhead.
It is, yeah. I was just thinking the cloud cover's coming over, and is there any sort of threat of rain here today?
I think we're going to be okay. I say that without any real authority, of course, just looking at forecasts, but I don't believe. They still look like fairly light clouds, just a darker one overhead at the moment at Lord's, making things a little gloomier out there, but I think we're okay.
I think, Adam, we're going to have to lose you in a moment, aren't we? But thanks ever so much for coming up and joining us on commentary today. To get a captain's view while a match is going on is a rare privilege for us.
A real privilege, yeah. Thanks, Adam, for that.
And
Boynton get the boundary there.
Yeah, that's really the sort of boundary you were just saying. They're looking for the short boundary. He's finally got one. And that's going to be important if the Army are going to get back into this on 42 for 4. So more tactical stuff presumably on its way now for you and the RAF team.
Yeah, we start to the shot from Jay across, just down for 1. Yeah, we just got our sort of work up now for the game and things. But no, thank you very much. Thanks for all of your coverage. It's means a lot to the players that, you know, people who can't make it today can actually watch and feel really involved with it. So we've got plenty of family and friends that are always watching. Thank you for the mega work that you guys do.
Thank you. Yeah,
that's very kind.
Our pleasure, as always, isn't it, John?
It certainly is. Well, it's a rare privilege for us to be here in this commentary box here, which has been the home for many a class commentator over the years. But Adam Fisher, best of luck for the RAF later on. We will send that to all the teams, by the way, so there's no bias on our part. But we're certainly delighted to have you up with us today, and enjoy the rest of the day here at Lord's.
Well, thank you very, very much.
Wonderful to get the thoughts of Adam Fisher there, as you say, John, and watching earnestly as he sees how the Army are trying to take on this tight Navy bowling performance.
I don't think even Test match special are able to get the captains of active captains of teams up into the commentary box during their games. But no, fantastic to get the insight there from, and you could just tell. I mean, obviously we're audio only in terms of the commentary box here, but if we had a camera here, you could just see how closely he was looking at everything to get as much information as possible.
Absolutely. One thing I would say I've noticed, just get delivery coming through here. Oh, that's fairly close from Hill. Yeah, one thing I've noticed, you know, speaking to Adam Fisher a little bit in the last couple of weeks, just that intense focus in his eyes. Whether he's watching this game, as you say, whether he's doing interviews with us at the training ground, he has focus. And I tell you what, those guys know they have an opportunity today. They're watching a very good Navy side, yes, but having won that match on Tuesday, and they know they've got a great opportunity, and they look like men on missions, don't they?
They do, and I must say that just sort of watching this Navy team, I haven't been here to Lords for a couple of years with other sporting commitments tend to go on at the same time. This Navy team is doing so well. I've seen some pretty disastrous Navy displays over the last few years, and they are really doing the senior service proud here today. And it's got to be good for this competition, you know, a proper tri-service competition all on the same day. So the more the Navy and the RAF and the Army can be almost on parity with each other, the better, because it makes it so much more exciting for us to watch.
It really does. Yeah, the quality is there to see. And something Fisher said the other day as well was that he feels these are 3 well-matched sides. And he's not just being diplomatic there, he really feels that this is a close competition, and a good bit of fielding there. I think Boynton's just home. But, you know, it speaks to the quality, doesn't it, of the tournament.
That was Finlay Marks, the Navy captain there, with the shy at the stumps, guided by the wicket-keeper Brendan Strather. But the end of another over, and the Army have moved on to 47 for 4. Their run rate climbing now to 5.2. They'll be looking for more like 7 or 8, won't they? And they've still got a lot of work to do. But these two, James and Boynton, have got a really important role to play now to try and get the Army back into this game.
Another thing that strikes me, John, as you watch the spinners do their thing, is just how quickly, of course, they get through their overs. So it's not only that the Army are finding it tough to find the gaps, but they don't have a second to take a breather, really. They look up and the next over's upon them, it's upon them, it's upon them, the next ball. And it's just an extra bit of pressure there too.
So looks like Ben White, who is going to resume from the pavilion end.
Ben White, good experience too that he has. Strather just setting the field, making sure he's happy with everything, the glovesman. Comes in. Oh, and lofted.
Yeah.
That's going to land between the fielders. And, a lush outfield. The ball just not plugging, but just taking a lot of energy off that ball. A different outfield, of course, John, to what we saw on Tuesday down at Utility Bowl Nursery Ground. A very bare, very dry surface. I guess reflecting the recent weather, but of course here at Lord's always a lush outfield, even in the driest of conditions.
I remember back in 1976 when it wasn't. I came here as a small boy to watch a game, and I think everywhere was parched in those days. That was the big, long, hot summer of 1976.
It certainly was hot for the England batsmen against the West Indies. That was for sure as well.
Great bit of fielding there from Ben White in his own delivery.
Brian Close and co were feeling the heat in that series that year as well.
Was it against the West Indies?
76. Old Trafford in the Oval, that famous shot of Brian Close just getting out of the way of that Mikey Holding delivery. That's struck up towards long on. And very good from the Royal Navy, just keeping things tight here.
Little plug for my own county, Leicestershire, who came here last week in County Championship Division 2, unbeaten, beat Middlesex here in 3 days, their first win here at Lord's since 1980.
And that ball coming off the edge. It's going to be 4 runs off the bat of James, and they all count. The Army will certainly be happy with that, going over the rope. And another 4. Yeah, well, I tell you what, the start to the season, it's been very strong from East Midlands sides, John.
That's right. Notts leading County Championship 1, and the Foxes leading County Championship 2, unbeaten as well. Leicester have, I think we're talking many years since they won 3 County Championship games in a row. I do remember a few years ago we struggled to win 1 game in a season. So yeah, it's been a great start for them. And we seem to have an unwanted visitor, and he certainly isn't a fielder on the pitch. So we'll just keep him out of the way, I think. It's a bit early for being drunk and disorderly on a cricket pitch, isn't it?
Whether he is or whether he's just extremely enthusiastic and doesn't quite understand the protocols here. But anyway, we get on with the game, and yeah, as you say, just from your point of view, you've been delighted with Leicestershire so far.
Yep, and good balance in the side. A team that can actually win games through bowling. Jeff Boycott once said, Sir Geoffrey Boycott said, it's actually bowlers that win matches. He was talking very much about test matches. It's bowlers that win matches. Batters create the opportunity to win the game, but you've got to bowl the opposition out. That's never more true than in T20, to be honest. You know, I think he was talking very much about test match cricket, but he's quite right. And don't always agree with what Sir Geoffrey Boycott used to say, but he was quite right there.
He's very insightful, though, Geoffrey Boycott. Boyk's always with razor-sharp analysis. Yeah, it's interesting, actually. I think in recent years of T20, now that we're seeing things develop so much, I think initially 20-odd years ago, the feeling was that you could keep a lid on things just with economical bowling, keep things to below 6 and over. And now we're seeing actually it's about taking wickets, because batsmen can come out and just absolutely smoke you into the crowd, almost at will on certain wickets. And so you have to get them out, otherwise you can't really contain them.
Okay then.
Oh, beauty there. Absolute beauty, and Struggle not quite going up for appeal, but just raising that aloft, that ball, and that's lovely from White.
So the quality of the bowling today across the board so far, Si, has been absolutely fantastic. And Ben White there, what a great delivery that was. I've never seen the ball swing around quite so much in a Forces game, in Forces matches as it has here today so far.
Especially in T20. James just getting that off his legs. I think, going back to that lush outfield, I think that's certainly helping the ball to stay in good condition. You know, and unlike the abrasive surfaces that many grounds have at the moment, the ball can stay fairly shiny and keep that swing, keep that lacquer, you know.
So we're halfway through then the Army innings here, and they are struggling. 54 for 4. I think if you'd said this to the Navy before the game started, they'd have bitten your hand off for a situation like this at the moment. They're in such a strong position here, the Navy, with the Army just struggling on 5.4 and over so far. And they've lost crucial wickets, of course, but some of those danger men, Boynton and James, are still there, of course. And Jonathan Boynton, no...
Oh, and a huge appeal from Hill. That looked like a good shout, but the umpire says no.
Turn down. Nathan Hill again, you know, so accurate with his delivery so far. And the Army really struggling here to get any sort of rhythm into their batting.
Yeah, you're saying obviously the importance of Boynton, the importance of any skipper that comes through in these situations. Using his feet now and just punching that down to long on.
Comes down the wicket. Always the danger of that as well, split with a spinner. We've not really seen whether this wicket is taking spin today. It's certainly responding to the weather conditions, but whether it's taking spin or not, I don't know. But, Nathan Hill once more comes in.
That's short, and that's dispatched by Denzel James right into the crowd. Well, we said it earlier about there being only a couple of sixes so far in that region, and certainly James favouring that area and launching it right in there.
It'll give the score that extra bit of respectability. 62 for 4 now.
Good atmosphere developing as well, isn't there? You know, with those school kids who come to watch, and all the adults indeed as well, and around them.
It would be just so good to see that that's very wide on the offside, but umpire allows it to go ahead, and the Army will take a single there. But yeah, you're right. Wouldn't it be lovely just to see a few more people here? I know that it's difficult for people to get away, but you know, there's nothing quite like the atmosphere of a full ground here at Lord's.
Yeah, it's that hum, isn't it? That murmur you can sense. And just another punch down to long on. I think one of my early memories of watching cricket, Test cricket, and to come back for the second as well. It's a little tight, but got in the end. Yeah, one of my earliest memories, I guess, or earlier memories, you know, in the days when you turned your TV on and the audio came on a couple of seconds before the screen, but you could always tell it was Lord's when you turned the Test cricket on back in those days because of that hum, as I say, around the ground. You could tell just by the audio.
Yeah, there's a certain amount of urgency now in the Army's performance here, and Boynton squares it and they'll take the single. That's the end of another over. The 11th over completed here. 66 for 4 is the score.
Very impressive from the Royal Navy. They continue to squeeze and they run through in between overs as well. Always a sign of a positive side with attacking intent. Led well today, Finn Marks. And well, similarly to what we saw on Tuesday, John, the Army being squeezed and unable to break the shackles really. 142 for 8 in their innings against RAF in 20 overs. Here, of course, Boynton trying to smear that away, and James out of his crease, and well, that would have been close. Had that hit just over the top of the stump. 66 for 4 now.
Yeah, that shy at the wickets there. Could have been absolute glory for the Navy, but James managed to struggle back as Boynton now faces. That's in the air, but it's going to be safe straight down the ground.
Lofted over bowler's head. Powerful striker James. We saw in the previous over, of course, that flat six. You always got to keep your eye on proceedings, don't you, John, when you're in the crowd at a T20 match? And that was a fairly well-pooled shot, that was. Right. Coming in again. Good run. Oh, lovely flick around the corner.
Yep.
Lovely little flick, and lovely from James. Pat in the back from Boynton as skipper.
Yeah, the change of stance there, just spotted the gap. Down here on the, that's the long leg boundary, isn't it?
Down towards the hover covers at Lords. Thankfully, they've not been needed today. So far.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Don't tempt Providence.
Not to, yeah, exactly. Not to jinx anything at all. And Hewitt it is down there. So a short fine leg. Oh, and that ball's gone aerially again. And is that got enough to get over the... It has indeed. It's 6 runs. A fairly square shot through the offside, the Denzel James.
Well, valuable runs these from Denzel. Takes him to 27 now. From the total of 77.
Just looking back at that shot, and James just one-handed almost in the end, taking one of his hands off it. He didn't, of course, get it, skewed off the bat, but enough power to get over the rope. This time he smashed that, but that's only as far as Ben Johnson on the ropes. And what a wicket that is.
Wickets, yeah. Johnson again takes that. And just see the delight in those Navy players as they charge towards him, because he was such a danger. He was just getting himself in, wasn't he, on 27? It was James, and he has gone. So the Army, big trouble now. 77 for 5. Goodness me.
Yeah, really deep trouble for the red shirts. James getting going, and you just felt he hit that hard, didn't quite get it though, and well positioned fielding placement there.
Well, 27 really well taken runs from James there. He was starting to hit some boundaries, but just well, one shot too many, and there we go. And just looking on the replay there, reaction from Johnson there, and obviously for Ben White as well. Another wicket for him. In fact, that is his first wicket of the innings. So the Royal Navy in very fine fettle here. Of course, if they were to win today, it would concern the Army to the wooden spoon, which they won't be very happy about, but it will set us up in effect for a grand final, won't it, with the RAF?
Shaping up, if that were to be the case.
There is a long way to go yet, because of course the Navy have not only have they got to see this innings through, but they've also got to bat themselves. A lot can happen.
Yeah, it can, absolutely. And as you say with Geoffrey Boycott, another thing he always says is just wait until both sides are batted on the surface to determine what it's like. It does feel, though, that the Navy are in control. There's a bit of an appeal there. It's been called wide appealing. Strother taking the ball, but it's gone past everything, I think. And Liam Fletcher, the man out now in the middle. And Jay Boynton with a lot to do, 18 not out, the skipper. They've got just 8 overs left in this match. In this innings, I should say.
Corporal Liam Fletcher then from the Royal Electrical Mechanical Engineers, facing White's delivery. And
going to be watchful there in the end.
The end of the 12th over. Just 8 overs left in this Army innings.
Army right under the pump here. So Boynton getting a bit of attention there, looking at his gloves. And
maybe these are magic gloves, though.
it's funny, isn't it, John, just how much, as we know, batsmen take pride over their certain bats. They may have a whole array of 7 or 8 or even more in their locker, in their kit, but they have a favourite, don't they? They usually have a favourite, and it could be the same with gloves, as you say. And it's funny, isn't it? You have 7 or 8 of the exact same model and make of bat, and yet one you just think feels better. In the cricket I played, that's what I find. Not that I had 7 or 8 bats, but maybe a couple at different times. And
well, Stuart Broad, he just cut holes in his boots, didn't he? Because he's quite large feet. And he had to actually cut holes in his boots so his feet would fit in them. to give him that extra sort of oomph and push that he needed to take all those wickets.
Yeah, when you think of your toes hammering into the front of those boots at the speed he would have done through the crease. Yeah, remember seeing other bowlers do the same. And that's quite wide, but the umpire says it's...
Well, it's down the offside, so it was okay.
Duncan Fraser into the attack. HMS Collingwood.
Leading hand. No doubt there's a lot of people around the forces world in the Royal Navy today keeping a very close eye on how the senior service team is going, and that was a great delivery there to Boynton.
Trying to loft that inside out and missing it completely.
You know, Jay's not had the, you know, he's been out there for some time. 18 runs to his name. They need to speed it up a bit to the Army, but also with 5 wickets down, they've got to be mindful of that as well.
A rate of 6.3 at the stage. Just, 8 overs. Under 8 overs left now. I'm trying to help out this way and getting it over fine leg and a short fine. All the way to the boundary, up towards the pavilion, and a welcome one for the British Army.
Yeah. Into the third man boundary, and actually Jonathan Boynton will be very pleased with that. Just moves them on to 82 now, puts him on to 22 not out, with Fletcher still to score.
And goes Fraser again, a bit fuller this time, and a big shot up into the air, and that's going to be caught.
It's out, and Boynton's gone.
It's a catch. It's Hewitt that takes the catch. Massive wicket. Army skipper Boynton has to turn and walk back. And wow, well that's...
So those magic gloves didn't exactly do the job, did they, for Jonathan Boynton there? And well, it's turning into a disaster for the Army because they've just not got going at all.
Losing their linchpin there, you feel, Jay Boynton. And jubilant scenes once more. You mentioned as well, John, how much the Navy have enjoyed every single one of those wickets. They seem a very close-knit unit. And the Army sitting on that row of benches, looking fairly despondent at the moment. It's not been easy for them at all as Kydal walks out to the crease.
I mean, they've still got 8 overs left, so there's plenty of delivery still to go, but they're running out of wickets, and they've got to be so careful about that. You know, for your innings to come to an end before the 20 overs is nothing short of, it's shocking, isn't it, really? But you've still got players here who've got a job to do. Get their heads down. 82 is a total that has won a T20 match before. In fact, I'll just check out on the stats for the lowest scoring games from which I'll try and find those while you're...
Yeah, while you're finding those, I mean, I can recall a couple this year, certainly below 100 that have been defended in the IPL, of all leagues, all tournaments. So it can be done, these low scores can be defended. But you feel with the way that MCC batted earlier and showed that 166, without really seeming to sweat too much through it, was possible. Well, you feel that there are runs in this wicket, and it's playing fairly true, short boundary. And they've just been very clever, and they've been able to get a good start. They've been able to get the Army under pressure from ball one. And we've seen that, you know, that pressure tell.
Well, the Army do have form when it comes to low scores. They were all out for 44 here against the Royal Air Force on the 19th of June 2012. 44 all out, so they've beaten that. But when it goes wrong for the Army, sometimes it does go very seriously wrong. The second lowest score was by the RAF back in July 2010. They were all out for 80 against the Army. So low scores, you know, sometimes you know, can be winning scores. But you suspect here with the Navy, with their tails up at the moment, they feel they've got a real opportunity here.
Yeah, they're hunting. You can sense it in the field, hunting for those wickets. Conscious that the Army just looked deflated, really. That's a word actually Jay Boynton used yesterday, just said he was feeling a little deflated, you know, and the guy who earlier in the week had said this would be his final week in T20s for the Army. And just that mood, I think, has gone through that entire camp, it seems.
Might be reconsidering his decision. But the Army have had so many years of success. I mean, prior to this, you know, they had this huge run of wins right through from against the Navy anyway, right through from June 2014 right through until May of 2023, when they won every single game here against the Navy. Yeah, so they still feel they've got an opportunity. It will go wrong with the bat for the Navy, but they're putting themselves in such a good position here.
Well, Cowdell, the man that batted Michael Cowdell very well the other day, 30-odd runs against the Royal Air Force. That ball just jumps up, but nowhere near Strother in the end. Cowdell, yeah, batted nicely in Southampton, so he's a man who can definitely get the Army up to a better score. That ball just chipped back towards long on for a single. He thought of it too, but not to be.
And you can see with the field placings now for the Navy that Finley Marks has decided, look, they're going to have to go for the boundaries. So there's, you know, the ring outside of that inner ring, if you like, of the white blobs on the pitch. There is, you know, all the fielding is now either just within or outside the ring, because they know that the Army having to go for the boundaries here.
Well, there was an appeal there, but nothing came of it. Umpire not
leg by.
Interested. Whack that ball back to Robbins, who collects.
Did really well, didn't he? Did brilliantly there, did Robbins.
Very nice stuff from Robbins. With the ball in hand and in the field too.
Yeah, he took a really important catch, didn't he, earlier on, and I'm just saying, he caught Lepasis, yeah, I can't say.
Kelly Lesboros.
Well said. You saved me there.
It's all good.
He really was the most dangerous of all the batsmen for the Army at that time on 14, but that was a really important wicket.
Here comes Fraser. It's wide, but no, it's been signalled a wide by the umpire.
'87 for 6.
It's wide as well, but that's flayed over backward point, and looks as if it's going to reach the boundary. It does. Another 4, much needed for the Army.
Yeah. Michael Cowdell getting himself off the mark with a boundary. His first boundary.
Ah, it's lovely. Very nicely played. Straight out to Ben Johnson on the rope, but it's nicely picked off his legs. He played quite a few shots in Southampton the other day off his pads very nicely. He likes that area. Likes that shot. Good wrists, Cowdell. Oh, and that ball's just gone through.
Yeah.
That's another 4. It was a full toss, as you say, and flicked help round the corner, and Walton couldn't quite stop it.
Important runs these for the Army at this stage. Fletcher moving to 5 not out. 96 for 6, approaching the 100 for the Army. We've still got 5 and a bit overs left.
Fraser again, trying to get out towards that. It's going to land safely in the end, but not far away from Ben Johnson. He's been all over the action today, Johnson. An important bowler for his side, batsman as well, and his fielding really. He's taken a couple of great catches. Oh,
that was a great delivery, wasn't it?
Beaten all ends up.
Yeah, Fraser. Just wondering how on earth that didn't give him a wicket there. You can see the look on his face. He can't quite believe it.
Yeah, missed everything ultimately. Strether did well, actually, to get a pad on it.
And come in again, hoping for more of the same.
Jammed into the ground, in front of square, on the offside, just a single.
The end of the over. So, just 5 overs left. The Army still to reach the ton, 98 for 6. And it's a realistic score for them now with 5 overs. They'll be looking, if they can, for around about 115, 120, I would have thought, but it's going to be a tall order, the way the Navy have bowled.
Yeah, just 5 overs left. You know, to go at the same rate, of course, they would get another 30, but 6 wickets down, as you say, with the way that Navy have been so tight. Yeah, they'll need certainly at least 120 to make this competitive. It's a full toss, and trying to bisect those fielders there, which he does well, Cowdell. It's a key boundary, takes him over 100.
Yeah, he did well there. So the 100 up, 102 for 6. It seems to take them an awful long time to get there, doesn't it, Si?
Yeah, it really does. And it's a sort of a, I don't want to put too sore a point on it for the Army, a fairly laboured innings so far, as we saw the other day. And the reason for that, of course, is the Navy's bowling. They haven't been able to break free. They've got so much talent, so many beautiful stroke players in that Army side. And they've just been strangled, really, by firstly the RAF on Tuesday and now the Navy.
Yeah, the most important thing for the Army now is to give the Navy a realistic total for them to defend.
I think these two, the way they're going about things, probably cognizant of that, you know, trying to knock it around quite a bit and make sure that they're at least picking up those singles and those twos. They realise that it's not a boundary every other ball. That's not what's going to happen. So knocking that back past his fellow batsman there.
Top scorers for the Army so far. Boynton made 22 and James made 27, but they have both gone. So a lot resting on the shoulders of these two at the moment, Fletcher and Cowdell. And Cowdell moving himself into double figures, 13 now, not out. And Fletcher, 9, not out.
Oh, that's a cheeky single there, really. And they're coming back for the second as well.
The overthrows, yeah.
Well, that's a risk they have to take at the moment, the Army. And they make it home. So another over gone, 109 for 6. The score, just 4 overs to go. And,
24 deliveries they have.
Be a brave man, John, to try and call what you think they're going to end on, or what even would be a good score.
Well, the run rate has gone up to over a run a ball, but the minimum you need really is 2, isn't it? Or maybe 2.5 in T20. But it all depends how well they can bowl. I'm getting a little bit darker here as well now. I think we do have tinted glass on the media centre here, so it's always sometimes a little bit distracting. Not quite sure whether it's the realistic light.
Yes. Cowdell bringing out the reverse there, not making any contact as Hill comes in. Very wide and will be signalled. Wide. 10 for 6 adding to that Army total.
10 extras out of that 110.
Reverse again. That's a beautiful reverse sweep, and it will challenge the boundary rope, but the fielders will get there in time. And it's Walton, in fact, who throws it back.
Yeah, nicely done.
Yeah, interesting chatting to the RAF earlier, chatting to Adam Fisher. And, just full of admiration for the way the Navy have played in this match so far. How exciting it is for them to take them on next.
Indeed. So the Navy looking for a rare victory here over the Army at HQ.
Smoke
And
that.
that's
A dropped catch attempt by Ben Johnson there, which in this game, that's the first thing he's done wrong, you'd say.
difficult one though. Was travelling at speed towards him, wasn't it? And if he'd held on to that, that would have been a remarkable catch. And it really was going at full pelt.
It was fast, it was low, he had to move forward. Yeah. And in the gloom as well.
Yeah. Again, he's going to be the man to receive the ball, and again the throws go through. But good backup there, good backup play there for the Navy from Nathan Hill, Royal Marine.
And one of the complexities I think here at Lord's, John, seems to be that certainly in the white ball game, the white ball is depending on the angle and where you are on the slope, the ball's coming out of those white seats as well, let's not forget. So that's a diving stop there. Yeah, so sometimes it's not so easy. I remember back in the 05 Ashes, the most famous of series, Kevin Peterson dropping a few catches in the first test of that series.
Did he blame the seating, did he?
I don't think, to be fair to, I don't think he blamed the seating, but I remember, I think at the time, it might have been Richie Benaud at the time, but there were certainly comments made about the ball sometimes at Lord's coming out of the crowd. I guess it was more so the crowd rather than the seating, but yeah. Nevertheless, yeah, that gloom continues, but it's still dry. It's still a cracking afternoon of cricket that we're seeing here.
3 overs left, Si. 115 for 6 is the Army score.
Oh,
and
ball straight back.
Is a dolly. It's a dolly caught and bowled.
Easy as you like, that one. Easy as you like, and Robbins, well, can't quite believe his luck almost. He's been bowling tight, and Kydell just chips it back off a leading edge.
Yeah, he's out for 17. He was an important batsman there for the Army in the dire straits that they find themselves. And Jake Benson has now got a big job on his hand as well to try and get the Army some really important runs on the board, and obviously deliveries are running out. So, but this has been, the Navy will be absolutely thrilled with this, and I'm sure that Finlay Marks is absolutely delighted, really, with the way his team have produced here in this match here. They've really, right from the word go, of course, the Army were 0 for 2. And
yes.
That is one heck of a thing to try and recover from.
Yeah, incredible start, and they've shuffled their order a little bit here towards the final moments of this innings. It's Denson Navarin who's stepped out to bat for the Army, and Jake Benson will have to wait perhaps a little longer. And yeah, just with that gloom, the Army might be feeling a little gloomy at the moment in terms of their innings. And Navarin off the mark straight away. And yeah, great once again, just from every single moment that we've seen these Navy fielders. They've been full of intent, they've been right at the ball, they've been looking for opportunities. As we welcome back our man Adam Gilchrist, not the Australian Adam Gilchrist, but our man himself with the gorgeous voice.
Thank you. What an introduction. I was all set with my stats.
How much did you pay him for that, by the way?
Yes, that cost me everything.
We shall not disclose the fees.
I was all set with my stats on Jonathan Boynton, who's...
That's another wicket, is it? No?
Oh,
yeah,
it is.
Been given.
A stumping. Yeah,
Yeah.
It's given a wide, and also a stumping there.
Yeah.
A fascinating way to...
Well, it's all gone totally haywire for the Army here. And, well, that's just disaster, isn't it?
Liam Fletcher there, probably the last recognised batsman in the side as Jake Benson strolls out to the crease. And just another example of how on the ball Strether's been all game, and how the Navy have been hunting those chances at every opportunity.
I guess the Army could have done with somebody sticking around a bit longer, but I mean, they've been trying to go for it. It's difficult to tell what a good score is. We know from earlier, from the MCC UCAF game, 166 was a handsome score, impossible to chase in the end. So 117 for 8. With 15 balls to go, if they can get to 140 something, it could still be challenging.
I think that's a real long shot now, Adam, particularly as they've just run out of batsmen. You know, we're getting down to the tail end here, aren't we?
True.
Now? But they're going to have to go for everything if they can. But it's been a masterful performance in the Navy, really has.
Yeah, top stuff from them. What I like as well, John, is that amid this gloom, which hopefully should lift very soon, Adam Gilchrist has brought one of his fantastic Hawaiian-esque shirts, flowery shirts, and hopefully the sunshine coming with it.
It's a shirt of optimism, obviously. But listen, when the day began, it was sunny. What can I say?
That's it. The weather hopefully follows your shirt, not the other way around. And, just digging that out of Aaron.
But it's a good point, Adam, because obviously 118 for 8 doesn't look brilliant on paper, but if the Army gets stuck into the Navy batting, then who knows, it could be enough.
Yeah, it's all about the pressure of the chase then, isn't it? But at this stage, yeah, you guys are suggesting the Navy would be happier. I think that's right, but pitch, overcast conditions, a couple of early wickets, yeah, it could make a real game of this, yeah, couldn't it?
Well, Benson and Ryan have just 2 overs, 119 for 8 to score. What can they push that up to? And, Ryan just asking for his guard. Trying to target that shorter boundary towards the grandstand, and Benson was taking quite a few throwdowns in the nets the other day, trying to practice some of his range hitting as well. That could be absolutely key in these dying moments of the innings. And Narayan himself, I think that ball's just gone over the ropes. It has indeed, the flattest of sixes, and well, timely for the Army.
There we go. You poo-pooed the idea of 140.
Well, and this could be really well. That's surely a wide.
Oh,
But not
Hasn't
given.
called it. Interesting from the umpire.
we're looking down a different line to the umpire, clearly.
Yes. Johnson will be happy enough with that. It's
And
wide
again.
again, and that will be called wide this time.
An extra inch.
Yes, we see what he's trying to do, of course, Ben Johnson, but
Just trying to tempt him, isn't he?
just getting a bit too wide.
Slashes it again, and this time it's retrieved and saved.
I have to say that the bowling attacks I've seen so far throughout the day have done really well in keeping a line whereby they don't get tonked over the short boundary for 4s and 6s constantly. So they're all well aware of where to put the ball, but maybe sometimes they play a bit fast and loose with that. A dink out into the covers for a single. 128 for 8.
Yeah, not too far off the 140 mark now, as you say,
No.
Adam.
A couple more boundaries, and it could be a realistic total. And he hits it again.
Trying to hammer that, but straight into the ground.
One of those where maybe Narayan's just trying a bit too hard, trying to hit it too far. We've all done it.
Get out of shape, don't you?
Yeah, especially in golf, we've all done it.
It's certainly true.
I was wondering about our credentials of being optimistic about victories, and I remembered that 2 of us are Manchester United fans and 1 of us is a Leicester City supporter. So between us, I think we have rather a lot of pessimism at the moment.
I was actually just making the point earlier on about Leicestershire and their amazing victory here the other day against Middlesex in County Championship, to their first win here since I think about 1980, which was lauded across the county, I have to say, on Sunday.
A very neat 2-step there from a Foxes fan.
Particularly, of course, as on Sunday,
Very
Jamie
neat.
Vardy did get his 200th goal in his 500th appearance. Clutching at straws as I am, you know,
You're doing well.
You have to grab everything that you can.
Clutching with all the fingers that he's got here, Adam, I think. But it's funny, you mentioned, yes, Manchester United and Sam Cooke, England debut since today. Great to see him playing. A fantastic bowler he's been in the county championships, and him talking in the lead-up, you may have seen, about his support for United and whether he'd prefer, you know, a good day, if you like, for United. And that ball goes right into the air. That'll be another six.
That's a good shot.
That's a
over
very good shot into the
extra
set.
cover.
And you know what? Your 140 is looking like a very strong possibility here.
4 balls to go, and the Army are 137 for 8.
These are very valuable runs.
John,
very
maybe-
valuable runs.
You may be clutching at straws, John, but Adam's got his crystal ball in front of him. He's clutching at, I think, at the moment. It seems,
Absolutely.
you know, very valuable runs, and yeah, we come in again. And well, just losing his shape a little bit there in Orion, but he might get 2. He's going to push for it anyway.
Square leg.
He's Another bit of work to do, but they get back, and 139 for 8 the score now. And, well, that's good from the Army.
3 balls to go. Could be important 3. I mean, they get 10 runs off these 3 balls. Advantage Army.
Taking your optimism to another level here.
Why not?
Well, it goes back to the old question of how important is momentum at the end of an innings, you know, and how important is that feel-good factor as Ryan goes for it again, but you think it'll just be one.
Just a single.
Yeah.
See, I would expect a sergeant from the Royal Logistic Corps to really knuckle down as he is clearly doing.
And know where all the gaps are.
Absolutely.
Just 2 balls to go here. And opened the face nicely on that. Maybe doing their best just to
Single out into the covers.
keep it to 1. So 141 for 8, and almost a carbon copy of their innings against the RAF the other day, 142 for 8.
1 ball to go in this innings.
It sounded very full of doom, that one, wasn't it? Just in this innings.
And it's a wide,
A
so
wide.
that will get them to 142, and they have another delivery. And look at those extras. It's now 13 extras out of this total. That's a lot to give away. Ryan hits it again,
That's
another wide.
Another wide.
And
a single as well.
And they'll take the single. So the Navy just need to keep calm, keep their heads here. 144 for 8. Is this, he says, question mark, the last delivery of the innings?
Oh, and lofts that, trying to bisect those fielders. They get round well.
No, they don't.
It gets over the heads of them, and another boundary, and what a boundary at the end. You can see them jogging off there, Jake Benson and Denson Narayan. Well, that's good from the Army in the end. 148 for 8.
But when you consider where they were, that is one heck of a recovery for the British Army.
They're in with a chance.
Fairly consistent scoring without anyone really grabbing the headlines, 20s and teen scores throughout. So 148 for 8, I think that's challenging, yeah, definitely.
Well, that 19 from Narayan, really, really important for them, I think, as well. With James obviously top scoring on 27, Boynton on 22. He will feel he could have done better. But that is a workable score for the British Army here, considering the trouble they were in. They were 0 for 2 at one stage and they had wickets falling like 9 pins. But they have recovered well.
You were asking the question at one stage, John, about defending totals below 100. And here we are, almost up at 150. Very good. Just looking back at some of those wickets to fall and some of those boundaries. I guess the tone was set, wasn't it, Adam, by Ben Johnson, the former Navy skipper at the top, getting that outswing and just really making it difficult from ball 1 for the Army.
Good to see a little bit of spin as well. I think that's the first time we saw a bit of spin early on. And it put pay, didn't it? McBean took a couple of early wickets, I think it was. Sorry, I'm in the wrong match there. No, it was Walton, wasn't it?
McBean did take some wickets early as well,
yeah.
even earlier.
Wrong
but
match.
Yeah, Walton, yeah.
Walton it was who took early wickets. So
yeah, Walton indeed.
you look at that score and think that's pretty handy. But you know what? For the Army to take the Inter-Services T20, it's an impossible calculation at this stage. They need a big win because they had a big defeat, after all, to the RAF. But it certainly puts the cat amongst the pigeons, shall we say.
It does, it does. And interesting, when we had Adam Fisher up here a short time ago, just before you joined us again, it was fascinating just to hear him talk about the wicket as well, and he reckons it's a fairly true wicket, something we heard mentioned by others this morning. And with that short boundary, I mean, the Navy will be, I think, fairly confident. They've got a mix of right and left-handers too, which always helps. And I think it was interesting, wasn't it? I think halfway through that Army innings, their body language and the heads were dropping a little bit. And, you know, you saw that. What impressed me as well about the Navy, Adam, was just the jubilation when they were taking a wicket and they were all running up and crowding each other. And that's the sign of a close-knit team, isn't it?
And the ground fielding was very good. I mean, virtually flawless. I don't think a single catch was dropped. I don't remember too many boundaries being let through. I think most of the ones, that the twos were turned into ones and so forth. I think there was one early one, perhaps. When a shot was played to long on, they got a 3, which I think was unusual. But otherwise, ground fielding was superb from the Royal Navy, and that always puts the pressure on. If your fielders are backing up the bowlers feel buoyed by it. But we still think, game on.
Absolutely. And we know that Jay Boynton, at this halfway point in this match, will be trying to gee his men up. And what a week for him as well, Adam, in mentioning earlier on Monday it was, that this will be his last week, he says, in a T20 shirt for the Army. A great career, a great servant he's been. And he'll be wanting to go out on a high here. So obviously there'll be quite a bit of motivation, not just to win this match anyway, but to send him off well.
Most number of T20 matches of anyone, I think it's 26. I think he's played 54 T20 and ODI matches, one-day matches. And I think he is second on the wickets list. He's, I think, third or fourth on the runs list. And he's, I think, top for the most number of victories as well. So he's got quite a lot going on.
Yeah.
Whether he can cap that off today, I'm sure what would please him most would be a victory.
Absolutely. It was interesting, wasn't it, at the top, when the Army put out Rayshawn Lewis and Stavon Gabriel to open the batting. Two guys, as it was pointed out as well by none other than Adam Fisher of the RAF, that hadn't opened before for the Army. So it was quite an interesting tactic, whether they were trying to go out there and hit some quick runs. We saw Gabriel the other day hit a 6 in his very first ball in inter-service cricket. Yeah,
that's something else, isn't it? I mean, that's the stuff you make up in your head before you go out. And then it happened. Yeah, extraordinary. Yeah, maybe there was that idea of a bit of pinch hitting at the top, which was all the rage in all sorts of cricket 10, 15, 20 years ago. And it went out of style a bit because all the proper batsmen now are kind of pinch hitters as well. You think about the England openers in the Test match.
Ball, yeah.
Ben Duckett and Zach Crawley are kind of pinch hitters and yet openers as well. So, yeah, maybe they were just trying something that didn't quite come off today.
Yeah, perhaps that was the case. There is a bit of drizzle just in the air at the moment. We mentioned that gloom, of course, very recently, hopefully amounting to nothing in terms of disrupting the match. I mean, you and I, Adam, and others last year were talking about how much, you know, we were disappointed with how much the rain impacted the games. Of course, the women's match last year cancelled completely. So hopefully amounting to nothing. But we'll go down to Kath Brazier now, who's pitch side with the RAF camp.
Yeah, so I'm here with Jack Fuller from the RAF, and we're just going to look ahead to your game, Jack, but also a bit of a reaction to the first innings there from the Army.
Yeah, it was almost a carbon copy from our game that we played against them on Tuesday, where they struggled to get off to a start, but they finished really well, going at 9.5 and over there for the final 10. I know there are a few wickets down, but they finished really, really strongly, especially with a boundary on the last ball, ran really hard, put the Navy under pressure. I think it's a very competitive total out there now, so we'll see how they fare with the ball.
But Navy looking really strong as well. It's obviously the first we've seen of them in this 2020 season, and obviously they are reigning champions, and you've got to face them. So you're taking a lot, I'm sure, from watching this.
Absolutely, they look like a really well-drilled unit, especially in the field. They're flying around a lot of energy. Very minimal extras as well, minus a few overs. So obviously they're bowling to their plans well there, their field sets. So yeah, they look like a strong outfit. So it'll be a good test.
I think this is the closest I've seen the three teams in a while. Maybe Army have dropped off slightly here, but it's going to be a really exciting finale. You were in the wickets on Tuesday, hoping that today would be a repeat, and especially to do it at Lord's.
Oh, fingers crossed. It'll be great. It'll be great if we can repeat what happened there. As a bowling unit, all of us have come together fantastically this year. It's really, really nice to see that everyone's playing out of their skin. Confidence is high going into the next game, so fingers crossed we'll do the job.
I don't want to jinx anything, but there's a tiny bit of rain in the air. How annoying is that when it hasn't rained for like 2 months, and today of all days we've got grey skies?
Well, we're used to it now, aren't we? Lords for the last few years. There's always going to be rain around here with this microclimate, so see what happens.
Let's just hope the score is not predicted by the weather, but...
Absolutely,
great.
Absolutely.
Jack, well, good luck, and we'll see you in the next match.
Thank you very much.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Yes, well, just the interval in this match. This match between the British Army and the defending champions, the Royal Navy, here at Lord's. The second match today, of course. And following on from the RAF victory over the Army on Tuesday down in Southampton. Well, it's a fascinating one so far today. 148 for 8, the Army finishing on in their 20 overs. It looked as if it was going to be far fewer at one point, so they did well just to bolster that score a little bit. Certainly give themselves something you'd imagine is definitely competitive, to say the least. The Navy will be happy with their bowling performance for the most part. And Ben Johnson opening things up beautifully from one end with his swing. And looking at the first match of the day, which of course was live. BFBS Forces News YouTube channel as well. UCAF women just falling short against MCC women. And great to see lots of great performances in there. Not least a wonderful half-century by Amanda Potgieter, a player we know very well and have spoken to so much over the years. And we're delighted to say joins us up in the commentary box. Great to have you, Amanda. How was that out there?
Thank you very much for having me. It was great to get on the pitch for a change. The weather played along for us today, absolutely. And there's always some kind of nerves when you play at Lords, whether you experienced player or new coming in. And we had quite a few new faces today in the UCAF team. The spirits were really high beforehand, so it made a really refreshing start to the day. But got out on the ground, and MCC brought a very much bolstered team this year, and yeah, we knew it was going to be a pretty big challenge.
Not the least a certain Mel Baggers as well, you know, who has obviously starred for UCAF in the past.
Yeah, it was good to see Mel play a bit of cricket again. She's been an MCC member for some years as well, so I guess she had the choice to pick due to various circumstances. So no, it was good, and she bowled pretty well at the end, pretty tightly. So yeah, we're representing pretty well across the services into MCC.
I think it's fantastic that you know the players can achieve what they are achieving, Amanda, as well. I mean, you know, I've got all the stats here. I mean, of course, there's one name that's right at the top of the list for batting and bowling, and she sat alongside us here in the commentary box. But today, I mean, I must admit, I was so impressed with Noor Talib's bowling for MCC. She kept. You could almost see how frustrating it was for you in those early overs to try and get her away, and it was almost impossible.
Yeah, the first over was probably the one we could have utilised a bit more, and then once she found a line and length, it was very awkward to play. The slightly straighter ones on off stump bananaed in, and she put it on a really awkward length, and considering she's not one of the tallest players, she got a lot of bounce off of that, so it was pretty awkward and frustrating in one.
Because the majority of the runs that she conceded were actually extras because she was going down the leg side, but that was because of the swing that she was producing. Must have made it incredibly hard. But you know, you got your half century, another to add to the collection, you know, and it made it a respectable score in the end. But 166 was an incredibly difficult one for you to try and make up.
Yeah, it was always going to be something we needed to get on with. What, eight and a bit and over, and we definitely had the personnel to chase that down. I wasn't majorly concerned, but we did need that start, and the top 5 in particular, top 6, to get runs.
It makes it competitive now as well, doesn't it, Si? It's now 2-1 in the series between yourselves and the MCC. But to come here and play, I mean, you talked about a few seconds ago about nerves, but for someone who has played here as often as you have, do you still get nervous then coming out onto the hallowed turf?
Yeah, of course. It varies. Like Lords, I do tend to get a little bit more nervous. More so when I play UCAF. Less so when I play for the MCC at Lords. It's probably a mixture between the occasion and the venue, and hopefully the trick is to turn those nerves into positive energy and useful energy on the field. So yeah, definitely get nervous. So other new players probably beside themselves at stages, but they handled it pretty well.
They certainly did. Well, great experience for the newcomers as well, and I'm sure they're going to have many more great experiences here at the home of cricket. So looking out onto the pitch now, we've got the Army coming out to defend this total. It looked a bit hopeless for them at one stage, but 148 is a defendable total in T20, isn't it, if they can get these early breakthroughs. But who would your money be on at the moment? because the Navy, they bowled really well, didn't they? They bowled and fielded really well, really up until the last couple of overs when it began to run away from them.
Put you in the hot seat there, I think.
Well, I'm always going to back the Army.
Of course you are.
But being my single service, and I know the guys will be well up for it to make amends from the RAF game earlier in the week.
Okay.
Yeah, it was interesting, I think, Amanda, that just looking at the MCC's bowling earlier and also the way the Navy bowled, it was almost like they took a leaf out of that book and tried to keep things not only tight, but just trying to get that ball to shape away as much as they could. I know, as you were saying, with Nurtala moving the ball back in, but trying to keep the ball away from you being able to free yourself up. And there were a lot of times I think you were trying to give yourself room and it was just jagging back in, wasn't it? And you were trying to, get it away.
It was, going back to Nur Talib's bowling, it was remarkable how much in-swing she got against the slope.
Yeah, and I don't remember seeing as much swing in a T20 as I have today. The Navy, some of their bowling as well, they've really produced some terrific swing bowling here. And is that to do with the conditions? I mean, it's brightening up now. It was getting a bit dark towards the end of the Army innings there, but it seems to be brightening up again now.
Definitely brighter, isn't it? And Mohammad Patwari, a man who's no stranger to opening the bowling and getting a bit of movement of his own, will be bowling to Sam Hewitt of the Royal Navy. And Patwari, who, as we've seen across formats, is a handy bowler.
So it's a big period now for the Navy, and say they are a bit short on victories here over the Army over the years, but what can they do in reply?
In and a lovely cut shot just behind point. Wonderful start and heading over the ropes there. And what a way to get started for the Royal Navy. A boundary first up and brilliant stuff from Hewitt.
Yeah, Sam Hewitt there from 40 Commando. And yeah, you can't get a better start than that. Well, you could if he'd hit a 6, I suppose, but let's not let's not be churlish about it.
Could have been a better start for the Army. It could have been a wicket.
It could, yes.
Worry, a bit straighter this time and fielded recovers. And I guess in terms also, Amanda, of the way the wicket is playing, there's a bit of up and down movement as well. There aren't too many balls seemingly keep low, but was that different when you were actually batting on it? What was it like?
Yeah, it was a bit variable. The one that got me in the end stayed much lower than I expected. Probably not totally the right shot, but in the circumstances I was going to have to try and hit 6 sixes into that short boundary. But yeah, the bounce is a little bit varied, but I've seen worse.
You've seen, I'm sure, many occasions where it's been worse than that. Fielded by Gabriel, the flat throw there as well from the deep. And, the Navy have come out just as they did in the field with plenty of attacking intent.
Yeah, they have. They come out firing. They need 7.5 and over. That's exactly what they are achieving at the moment. In these early stages, obviously there's only 4 completed deliveries of this first over, but already on 5 for no wicket.
Worry again. In past the umpire. Stride, and that's better.
That's a good delivery, but the wicketkeeper does well.
An opportunity there, and asking the question of the umpire, but
that was close.
I think he's no, we're just sitting.
They'll be calling for a VAR review on that, but you're not going to get it here today.
No.
Despite the fact we've got loads of cameras here today for BFBS, yes. We don't have that technology just yet. I'm working on that with the boss. I'm going to ask the boss.
Keep up the good work, John.
Yeah.
What about the atmosphere, Amanda, as well? Because from where we're sitting, it seems as if certainly the school kids earlier as well were making a bit of noise. What was it like for you out in the middle?
It's always interesting with the kids around, depending on which boundary they are the closest to. In the past, they've been very loud, and no less today. And it's great to see them so enthusiastic, whether it's because they really love cricket or just so glad to be out of the classroom for the day, or a mixture. But
that was mentioned by one John Nyson.
We did speculate on that. Yeah, I know where I'd rather be. Oh yeah, I'll go for the classroom every time.
Yeah, sure.
He lied. Cricket stats, maybe, yeah. But the tall figure, of course, Jake Benson, Very good spin bowler. Just marking out his run up.
First over completed then. The Navy move on to 6 without loss, with Hewitt on 5 and 1 extra to add to that total. A long way to go here. Army really keen to defend this 148 that they reached, which, considering the dire straits they were in at one stage, 0 for 2 right at the start of the innings, was a respectable score in the end.
Benson's in. Keep that tight line as he often does into the pads. Take a single. And, Molly Rebanks says, skipper Amanda, what have you made of her impact and getting her unit colours, also known as wickets, this morning as well?
It's great to have Molly in as captain while Connie's away, and I think it's particularly good for RAF cricket and UCAF. But Molly is now the first RAF women's representative captain for UCAF, and we've now covered all 3 single services in terms of captaincy, and she's great. She's really young, good career ahead of her, learning a lot about cricket. She plays cricket as well as for Lincolnshire, so plenty of non-service cricket to learn from.
Yeah, it's great. It's just so brilliant to have the women's game here at Lord's. Really important for the development of the sport and the military. That's going out for 4.
Very good
sweep
sweep
shots
from Robbins. Yeah, just helping it round the corner with the angle. And Benson just straying a little bit there on his line, but it's a well picked up shot by Robbins.
And it's hard to believe it's, so I keep saying this, it's 20 years since the very first IST20 here at Lord's. 2005 when they first brought the matches here. And, well, it's certainly the T20 format anyway.
Yeah, we had the centenary game just before that, didn't we?
Yep. That's in the air, and that is just short of the boundary. So it's 4 as opposed to 6, but this is a really good confident start then for the Navy here, as Robbins moves on to 9.
Obviously enjoying this defending champions tag as well. Speaking to Finn Marks yesterday evening, asking if there's any extra pressure because of that. He said not at all. He said, I think the boys gave the impression the boys are enjoying it. Benson comes in and just trying to cut that away. And,
well stopped.
That's a good stop. Ryan there, saving a certain boundary. Yeah, Finn Marks, level-headed cricketer, and we saw how good he was with the bat last summer as well in the longer formats, and they've got a good leadership group, it seems, the Royal Navy. Ball just sliding through on the angle.
Yeah, good delivery there from Benson. Asked all sorts of questions. End of the over. 2 completed then, and it's
17 for no loss.
Yeah, without loss. It's a good confident start from the senior service here, as the Army look to get that first wicket.
Going between 2 famous cities, London and Rome, and going from the home of cricket to somewhere a little less familiar, I guess, for cricket lovers. Just tell us a bit, Amanda, about what you've been doing cricket-wise out in Italy.
I got involved with the Cricket Italy women's team not long after we arrived in Rome. And the reason I'm in Rome is I'm accompanying my partner, also military, who are over there on exchange posting. So it's brilliant, the next 3 years in Rome and in Italy, but it also allows for an opportunity to get some extra experience in other cricketing countries. Italy being associate country, really improving, especially on the women's team. The men are pretty decent already, and the women are continuing to improve. I've been helping with a bit of coaching there, and tomorrow morning I'll meet the rest of the girls, and I'm managing the team for the ICC Division 2 qualifiers held in Rome for the next 7 days or so.
That's fantastic. I mean, to be involved at the leading edge of getting another country, you know, up and running in this great sport must feel very gratifying, really, for you.
It is. For me, I'm grateful for the opportunity, but there are a lot of people, and they've been going for a few years, a lot of people who put an extraordinary...
In the air, and this is going to be the first wicket.
It is indeed the first wicket.
Yeah, Boynton takes the catch. And, well, it was always a bit of a skyer, wasn't it, that one?
You can see the emotion there as well from Boynton, pumping his fist, and a yell of delight as his men come around.
Hewitt's gone for 6, so that's a really important wicket for the Army at this stage. These two are just beginning to get their act together, weren't they? So, yeah, sorry to cut you off in mid-prime there.
No, absolutely. And Jay taking the catch there, I know his family is here watching him, and his little boy as well, so hopefully it's something they can... his little boy will remember amongst all his other achievements.
Wearing his shirt as well, I believe, today, his little boy.
But sorry, going back to the Italy stuff, there's a lot of people who put an extraordinary amount of effort and time into developing cricket in Italy. From a coaching development point of view, which I'm also involved in at level 1 level, but people trying to improve the game for the men and women's teams, as well as domestic players. So, and they're always crying out for more games. And if touring teams want to go over there and spend a few days or so in Rome or further north, Padova, there are clubs all over the country, and it's an amazing opportunity to spread the word of cricket almost, or the love of cricket.
What are the states of the wickets like out there? What are the pitches like out there?
Great question.
They should be dry, obviously, and you know, for the most part. But it'd be interesting to see how green they are.
Well, there are no grass pitches in grass strips in Italy. It's all artificial, but it does make for probably slightly better guarantees that a game will go ahead, providing the outfield is in good enough state and not too wet. Generally it's been pretty dry, but you'll be amazed how varied an artificial strip is, from one club to the next, and even sometimes from one end to the next.
Yeah, sounds like Cyprus to me.
Keeps you on your toes anyway, that's for sure. You've got to be versatile, which we know you are.
Yeah.
No, great to hear, Amanda, that what you're able to put back into this game that you love so much, and yeah, long may it continue.
Thank you.
Ball just tickled around the corner, straying once again down the leg side from Patwari.
They'll get 2 from that, won't they?
A couple of runs, and Johnson eyes in the middle. Influential player he is for his side, left-hander.
21, the loss of that 1 wicket so far, with Hewitt gone for 6.
Well, I would like to think that if there is at this stage a tradition of cricket teas in Italy, that I imagine they probably have the best in the world, or among the best in the world.
Actually, I'd never thought of that.
I'd hope so.
Tell us about the cricket teas, Amanda.
Right, so the first event I attended last year, September, I think it was, Sweden and Malta was touring. Had a mini tournament with Italy, and we played at one of the grounds just outside of Rome, an hour south, and I couldn't wait for the teas, the lunches, just to see what it's going to be like, and it did not disappoint. It was all sorts, because they order it from a restaurant, and it was pasta, and like various pastas, meats, some chips as well, actually, salads. I said to the girls, this is the best teas I've ever seen. And they assured me that it's not always like that, but the times it hasn't been like that, it's been pretty decent as well. So.
Decent Chianti to wash it down with, maybe?
Not quite. We can hope. Yeah, we can hope as Narayan gets ready to come in for another delivery. It's time to Johnson to get off the mark. Former Navy skipper.
You can just see that the Army, there's this an extra spring in the Army step now. Getting that wicket has really helped them to just to bed themselves down here.
Yeah, body language is an amazing thing, isn't it?
It is.
And often it just takes one moment of brilliance in the team, whether it's a batter getting through the field with a really good boundary, or a fielder doing an amazing stop, or a wicket. Changes the atmosphere in either team pretty dramatically, or it's got the potential to.
Essentially how Robbins's runs have dried up a bit over the last few minutes.
Oh, and that's struck Narayan very hard there from Johnson. Johnson is off the mark now, but well, my goodness me.
If he'd taken that as a catch, that would have been a super catch, wouldn't it?
Coming in to get the pat back.
Still shaking his hand there. You could feel it from here, couldn't you? You could feel the ripple coming back here to the commentary box.
Oh, that's
lovely glance.
Edged down.
It may not make it all the way.
Oh.
It has done. That was a
nursery end.
A brave chase, wasn't it? A brave chase there from Keddy Lesporus. Well. Yeah, couldn't quite get that. So the boundary, and that takes the Navy to 27 for 1 at the end of the 4th over. Their run rate is 6.8. They require 7.6. So they're doing okay. They need 122 to win this, with 96 balls remaining. So it's still pretty tight, but only 1 wicket down.
It looks like Gabriel is coming on. Stefan Gabriel.
He's a larger-than-life character, is he not?
He's a brilliant character, yeah. As some of you watching may have seen in our social media channels, talking to me about pre-match rituals the other day, and saying about getting in the shower, getting the tunes on, and getting the boys ready, getting the vibes going, in his words. He loves it. And he said he's just loving life at the moment, you know, playing in the Army side. He said that Jay Boynton's been a great captain to play under so far. He's got a bit of gas with the ball. And as we said earlier, hit his first ball in inter-service cricket for 6, which isn't a bad way to start.
Didn't go quite so well for him today, though.
No,
in his innings, he was out. Was it first ball, second ball, something like that?
Certainly early on, but ball in hand, he'll be hoping for better, of course.
Here he goes.
Just on the leg side, a bit loose there.
Good take by the keeper.
Yeah, Graham Wiseman is a player I imagine, Amanda, you know well, and he's been around for a little bit of time, and his glove work's been very good the last couple of games. It was on Tuesday as well against the Royal Air Force.
Yeah, so certainly a good servant and an example in the Army setup over the years.
Here he comes again.
Oh, what a great delivery, and right through the fences. What a way to get Johnson turning round and going back to the pavilion. Beautiful delivery, wonderful wicket, and look at the celebrations.
Well, we mentioned about how wickets are so important. That catch from Jay Boynton, and suddenly, do you feel momentum is changing a little bit in favour of the Army here? It's quite possible, but that was a wonderful delivery. Brilliant delivery from Gabriel there.
Top of off. You dream of that as a bowler.
Yeah, exactly.
And to get it at Lords, you know, what could be better?
Yeah. For him, it would have been even better if he didn't get out second ball.
Yeah, true enough. But you can't have everything about it.
No, exactly.
You know,
he'd probably take a screamer of a catch in a minute.
He could trade you for your 50 or something, maybe.
It was a splendid delivery. It really was.
Yes.
And that would have been worthy of a wicket anywhere.
Johnson, I don't think, can have too many complaints when you face deliveries like that. It's just one of those moments when you go, well, I was beaten by a good one.
He's out for 1, and that score now 28 for 2. And
Strother, wicketkeeper batsman at the crease now. Had a good time of it with the gloves. Running for batting.
I've been boring everyone today, actually, Amanda, with this wonderful little book written by a very famous old cricket commentator, the name of John Arlott, who I'm sure that name is familiar to. It's so old, this book, you can see it's falling apart. But in the very first thing he says, what's the most important part about cricket? The answer, pleasure.
Yeah, I can see that.
It doesn't matter whether you're playing in a test match, whether you're playing in a game like this, whether you're playing village cricket, whatever it is, it's the pleasure of the game. That's the most important thing. And if you don't enjoy it, well, it's a bit sad, really, isn't it?
Here. Gabriel in again, and just off a thick outside edge from Strether towards third man region, and he gets off the mark.
It's funny you say most important thing or first thing about cricket is pleasure. It's one of the principles in coaching development as well, and coaching in general, that you have a group of players, potential players, and the main thing you want them to do is have fun.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, well said, especially when you have close matches, or you have cup games, or games like days like today, of course. And I guess, as you're alluding to, I imagine when you're coaching, that's key, that you tell these players you're going to be in a lot of tense moments, but you've got to do it with a smile on your face if you can.
Exactly, you can be competitive and you can be doing well with a smile on your face, and when things aren't going so well, a smile on your face might just change it.
Gabriel again. Ball's aerial, but be falling well short of the fielder. Well, he's a man with a smile on his face a lot. Stefan Gabriel, that's for sure. And he'll have, I'm sure, a big one for a while this evening after that wicket that he took. Certainly a bigger one if they win as well. The Army looking to just increase the pressure a little bit here. 30 for 2, the Royal Navy, after 4.4 overs. Missed.
And that is given as a wide. Some of the umpiring has been a bit variable, actually. We've seen some really wide deliveries not given, and a few which that looked okay down the offside. But anyway, we're just slightly off centre here, so from our commentary position.
Benefit of the doubt there, John.
Yeah. Full toss. That's very well fielded.
Yes, a few runs there. Just looking at the Army looking quite buoyant at the moment in the field.
Mike
Clapping.
Cowdell. That was Mike Cowdell with the red cap there from the Royal Signals.
He's come into this team very well, it seems, integrated well. He's been playing well so far. And wide-ish again, and Strether failing to put bat and ball. So the end of the over comes. 31 for 2, Royal Navy after 5, and strong words of encouragement from Jay Boynton to his man there.
Well, the Army have pinned down the Navy, haven't they, in these last 2 or 3 overs. They've got the crucial second wicket, and this is really competitive now, really tight. The run rate required has gone up to nearly 8, and the Navy running at around 6, just over 6. So it's touch and go. This could go either way, this match. Of course, Amanda, you've got the inter-services coming up as well, haven't you? The championship this year. So back to single service. And you're back down to that wonderful Duke of Norfolk's ground again down at Arundel?
The competition will be down at Arundel, yes, on the 12th of June, I think. The T20 competition.
Yep.
Oh, an appeal there from Narayan.
And he's given it.
No,
he looks as if he had done. The umpire brought his arm up.
It looked like his arm went up.
Teased us.
It's not fair on us at all.
Come on, spare a thought for the commentators here.
Yes. But close call there.
Dot ball though.
Yeah, really struggling to get anything out of this at the moment from Denson Narayan, who's putting in a good shift here.
He's been around for some time as well, Narayan. Plenty of experience. Denton's never far away from the wicket in his fielding positions as captain. Oh, and a lovely flick. Look at that shot.
Beautiful shot.
Head out towards the boundary.
Unlucky,
And good effort from Gabriel. Not to be, though. 4 runs.
And that was very welcome 4 runs for the Navy. They've just been pinned down over the last few overs. Robbins just moving his total on down to 21.
The use of the wrists there.
He's faced 16 deliveries so far.
Trying to. That's a lovely reverse run.
Is that going to make it? It is.
Yeah.
It's another boundary.
So that's 8 off these last 2 deliveries. Narayan will not be a happy man with that. And that moves the score on to 39 for 2 at the end of the 6th over.
Bit of innovation there by the batsman, because I think it looked like Narayan was bowling faster and faster and faster, and slightly premeditated, but it worked.
Yeah, it certainly did.
39 for 2, 110 to win off 84 balls, 14 overs effectively, that is. And, this is fascinating stuff now with Robbins getting his innings off to a good start, 25 off 17 balls.
We were looking at your stats earlier on, Amanda, which have been very carefully compiled for us here. Well, your 56th innings today, yielding another 50 runs. That was your 14th 50 in Forces cricket, not just the T20, obviously, but in Forces cricket. As that's, I'm only thinking it might have been a wicket, but
there.
they were appealing,
Yeah.
but it didn't touch. Yeah, you're getting awfully close to that 2,000 runs.
Oh, for UCAF?
Yeah.
Yeah. Great. I don't tend to look at stats very much these days, but...
You should.
I should, yeah. I glance over it a little every now and again, but that's interesting. So hopefully the rest of this season will be reasonably successful.
If I were a betting person, I would probably put a few quid on you getting to 2,000.
Thank you.
And it's not too shabby with the bowling either, to be honest. Either 65 wickets with an economy of 3.6. That's pretty amazing, really.
Thank you. Yeah,
And an average of 17.8. But yeah, Richard has put together these stats for us. He's absolutely brilliant, isn't he?
He is,
Richard Isaacs. He loves his military cricket.
Definitely, and he's taken over the job that his dad used to do for us, and two more amazing supporters of Forces cricket over the years, and it's good to see that it's continuing in the family, and Richard's doing a lot of international type stuff as well. So
yeah, he's joined us on commentary earlier on, which was great to have him alongside us.
Oh, great.
And
busy man this week. He was with us on Tuesday, and then England women yesterday, Canterbury. So he's been doing a lot, and as you say, a privilege to have him with us and talking through some of those stats and just putting great context around the history of this competition as it's developed through the years as well. And Gabriel just bowling very well at the moment, just getting into a bit of a groove. I think his rhythm seems to have his tail up.
Great bit of fielding there from Mike Cowdell as well.
So good bowling, and Sporus thinks twice about firing that in. Just a single in the end.
Takes the Navy to 41 with the loss of those 2 wickets. Hewitt and Johnson are gone.
Gabriel turns at the top of his mark. And he goes past the umpire. Oh, and across the line there, which was interesting from Robbins, not connecting at all.
It's interesting how a short boundary, especially on the leg side, gives you a false, I don't know, just probably make you play a little bit differently than you would do sometimes, thinking that it's an easy 6 or an easy, where it not necessarily always the case.
But it's interesting in your match, in fact, all the boundaries from UCAF were on the long boundary, not the short boundary. In fact, I think you scored all of them. But there were quite a few from MCC on the short boundary. But yeah, it's something that has cropped up quite a lot in conversation in this commentary box today about the relative value of the long and the short boundary, and there is a good tactical reason for that, I guess. Obviously, the fact that the wicket is right out either on the left or the right hand side here. But would be lovely to have thought that you might use a test wicket one of these days, but probably not.
That'd be amazing.
Yeah, it absolutely would be. Here, as we see Jay Boynton coming into the attack. just getting his field sorted here as well. Wiseman as well behind the wicket doing his bit.
Such a great view from this media centre, isn't it? It's got to be one of the best commentary positions anywhere in the world, to be fair. And very, very privileged to be here. As we always say this at Lord's, for our live coverage here on our Forces News YouTube channel. Boynton then comes in, and straight away it is given the treatment. Did that go over the line?
I think 1 bounce 4 there.
It's a 6.
It's a 6.
It was a 6. I thought
the fielder tried his best to indicate a 4.
Yeah, I think that was 4, but it will go down as a 6.
Well, lofted over extra cover inside.
And Jonathan will not be happy about that at all.
No, hopefully it fires him up.
Yeah, that's rather frustrating when you've bowled that, and an extra 2 runs are added to it if you think it's a 4. Here comes again, and on the pads this time, and a big appeal from Boynton, and a chance for a run out there as well. Some overthrows here, and Navy may well scamper through for another, but they choose not to. And it looked maybe just a little down leg, perhaps.
Yes. Well, they've got away with it, the Navy.
Boynton in. Again, that characteristic run-up of his. And, nice little
a single.
Quick.
That was some great fielding there. Great cricket.
Very, very close indeed that time.
He just about got in, didn't he, did Brendan Strether there?
I had visions of Jonty Rhodes coming in there. Narayan flying up through the air.
The archetypal top fielder, Jonty Rhodes. Jonty Rhodes, who you could say, I guess, passed the mantle a few years later to A.B. de Villiers. Similar fielding positions and roles he played. Paul Collingwood. Some of those players have been.
And that really was tight. Just looking at that, the replay again, that really was tight. That scamper between the wickets there. I like the way that Jay just sort of flaps his arms around when he bowls.
How did that find its way through and not strike the stumps?
How many times have we said that today?
I thought Richard could be in keeping a tally. He did stats for us commentators as well.
2 short of the 50 then, the Navy. In reply to 148 for 2.
Sweep again, and another appeal from Boynton. Maybe just outside the line this time.
Very enthusiastic appeal by Jay. On his knees near enough.
I don't think he does anything half-heartedly, Jay Boynton.
No.
Just speaking to the umpire there. Big appeal, but umpire having none of it at all.
Pretty clear immediately, wasn't he?
Yep.
Gabriel coming back on at this end, the nursery end.
It's always worth mentioning and giving due deference to the officials out there. The tournament referee today, Alex Rennie from the Army. Umpires Dave Richards from the RAF, Martin Seward from the RAF, and Ben Hood from the Army today. And officiating superbly. And another incredible delivery there comes through from Gabriel, but doesn't get the reward. He's already just got the 1 wicket so far from the 2 that have fallen in the Navy card. And he would probably feel he's due another one.
Gabriel in again. Oh, beautiful.
This is fantastic bowling, isn't it?
Great over so far. Keeping the batsman interested.
But not only that, denying a scoring opportunity, and you know, the odd maiden over here and there in a T20 is absolutely vital, isn't it, for a team defending, who are defending a score.
Yeah, kills the scoring.
They still require 101. They've got 70 balls left.
Ball just leaks out to Boynton, ever present it seems at the moment, just as Ben Johnson was earlier.
Another.
Nibbling away, just moving through the air as well.
He's
That
probably thinking
shape.
to himself, what have I got to do to get this, to get another wicket here? Because he's doing everything perfectly, isn't he?
What do you reckon? Next one, Joker?
Either of you two want to call it?
It's already been done. I don't think that was a question. Wait, what might
Very
have been?
subtle
It
from
might
Amanda
have, might have
Puckmeter
been
there.
a
I liked
question.
it. It was
a
good.
question.
Yeah.
It was a rhetorical question. Okay, let's see what he does. It wasn't.
And flayed away through the offside. Just be going out there to Benson
Going
and
for two.
firing it in, going for two here, and an opportunity
Oh,
for a run out, but they make it home.
gosh, they had to die for that one, didn't he? He really did. Strather again. That's the second time he's been literally flat on his front to get across the line.
Luckily, there's a bit of grass next to this strip.
Yeah. Luckily, it's not artificial.
That's very lush. Oh, a lovely shot.
Off, lovely turn.
Oh, pick up.
And another single adds to the Navy total. They go past 50, 51 for 2 then at the end of the 9th over. And close to the halfway mark. And this is, well, they're going to have to just up the scoring rate a little bit. They're down below 6. They require nearly 9 and over now. So the Army have put them onto the cosh. And there's been some really good bowling here. And Jonathan Boynton staying on.
Just trying to get more of a squeeze on. Boynton with a spin.
It's not always about the number of wickets you get. It's the way that you hold people in position.
Absolutely, and Boynton.
It wouldn't be Lord's
Good
without.
voice.
It wouldn't be a Lord's commentary box without some cakes. Thanks, gentlemen.
Yes, thanks to Alex and Joe there for bringing the cakes in. And two men who
Oh,
busy
that's
themselves and turned around the corner there, out towards the rope, but they'll just get to it. Looks, yes, couple there.
Yeah, the cakes are legendary here.
Boynton in again.
Ooh,
back of
tucked
the
him
length.
up there.
Great delivery. Stratford did well to keep it out.
Interesting at the moment. Penny for the thoughts of those Navy batsmen on the benches beyond the boundary. Oh, and it's hit inside out.
That
and,
is out.
Great catch.
What a brilliant
Oh,
catch.
Brilliant stuff from Denzel James on the boundary, pointing to Jay Boynton. Boynton running towards his man. Double high five and a big hug there.
Well, you can see again what it means to the Army players there. They've got a crucial third wicket now, and Strather was just playing himself in, really. He goes for 12. He'll be disappointed with that shot. Going for a long boundary, and the long off boundary. It was difficult. Obviously went for it, and it was a really good catch there from James there, making that really important breakthrough for the Army. They go to 53 for 3. Does this change the course of the match, do you think, Amanda?
Yeah, it looks like the Army just keeps stepping it up. Because if you look at the run rate, having swung completely the other way from how the Navy started, it's creeping up to double what they need. So yeah, I think the Army is in the driving seat at the moment.
And I'll tell you what, those runs from Denson and Narayan earlier on in the Army, right at the end of the Army innings, could be absolutely crucial in this one, because he really went for it, didn't he? And I think he ended up with more than 20, which I think it was 22 he ended up on as third top scorer. Those runs absolutely vital. could make the difference.
How often do we say that at the end of a T20 innings as well? Runs towards the end. Just boosting momentum, not only the total, but also just more of a feel-good feeling for the side that then goes into field, as the Army are doing now.
So Jay Boynton gets his first wicket. That's the next man in for the Navy, who is Finley Marks, the captain. So he's got an important job to do now. Certainly to back up Robbins there, who's doing well on 26.
Marks played so beautifully in 50 over competition last year, scoring 100. Finally, Johnson comes in again to him now. That's well played out towards the boundary as far as the Sporus. Interesting battle between the two skippers.
End of the over, and we're halfway through then this Royal Navy innings. They're on 54 for 3, chasing at 149 to win. They need 95 still, and they've got just 60 balls left to do it. Bit of a discussion now going on in the middle there, in the square. What are they going to do? Still got enough time not to have to panic, but it's getting quite crucial now, isn't it?
Another wicket here, it could be very interesting.
Yeah, decision point as well, like you mentioned, John, for the batters now. Who goes? Do they both go? Does it pay off?
Well, for the captain, you know, particularly for Finley Marks, he's really got to decide whether he's going to go for it or whether he's going to leave it to the man who's been there right from the start.
Oh, how did that
A Chinese cuts, if ever I saw one.
Well, that's gone to the boundary, and just inside edge, past the stumps, and hands on the head for Stefan Gabriel.
This is his last over, isn't it, I think, as well? Gabriel's last over.
Could easily have had 3 or 4 today.
Yeah. He's taken one superb wicket, a brilliant bit of bowling. But his bowling has really impressed today. You just feel, what on earth, what have I got to do? You know.
Other days, I'm sure, I imagine, maybe in times, Amanda, you felt more fortunate on other days, or some days where you haven't bowled as well and you've taken more wickets.
Yeah, absolutely. Probably a fair few bad balls of any bowler that has taken embarrassingly taken a wicket almost sometimes. But it balances it out when you bowl beautifully, and like the Sporus now, then there's nothing you can do differently to try and get that wicket.
And he goes again. It's the umpire. It's good length. Just a little wide. Finley Mark's able to get that down towards third man.
Yeah. I read quite an interesting little thing this morning about the, took various types of spin bowling. We haven't seen too much of that today. But the man who invented the googly.
I know who that was.
Yeah. His name was...
An ancestor of a colleague of ours.
Well, I'm not quite sure whether Justin is watching at the moment. Our news, one of our news editors, a guy called Bosanquet invented
Bernard,
it.
yes.
Bernard, yeah. Some time ago, but I think he was Australian rather than South African. I'm not sure, but just sort of reading what John Arlott wrote about these particular types of spin bowling. But the googly was invented by a man with the name of Bosanquet.
Interesting. Sounds like it should be a scientist.
Yes, probably.
In a Bond movie.
Yes.
Here comes Gabriel again.
Dancing at the depths of a lab somewhere. Oh, and that's interestingly picked
Skyer,
up.
And that is...
Okay.
And I think it's a 6, isn't it?
Has he carried that over? I think he has.
Yeah.
Yes, 6 runs signalled by the umpires.
Well, there's a great effort there for the fielders to try and keep that one out. There were 2 of them together, and you can see it was a brilliant effort from...
really great stuff.
Yeah, from Rachel Lewis there, but they've got a bit of a grin on their face. You win some, you lose some, I guess.
Yeah, you realise. Luck sometimes goes for you and against it other times.
Not just luck, but I think fielding in general over the last decade, maybe less, has had such an evolution across cricket. And like a few years ago, you wouldn't see athleticism or theatrics almost, or gymnastics in some cases like that in first-class cricket, never mind at a more amateur level. So there's some absolutely, thanks to, I think, franchises across the world where it's been required to save those runs. See more exciting stuff?
Yeah, absolutely.
When playing and coaching, Amanda, how much, goodness me, that was an interesting moment there. How much time do you spend practicing boundary fielding? Because as you say, so many teams now practice those parries back over the rope, and even actually just catching on the boundary itself. How much more time do you spend now, perhaps, compared to a few years back?
I wouldn't necessarily say more time. It's just more focused time on trying to get the ball at that awkward height on the boundary to do those sort of things, and maybe hunting in pairs. And that's not necessarily a new thing, but people are just believing more that they can actually do it. It's not just a fluke when it happens, that they're now actively looking for those opportunities and make the extra yard, and somebody going along and actioning those or making it happen.
Some of these slide tackles almost, to stop the ball rolling over the boundary. I mean, back in the day when I started watching cricket, you'd never see that. I remember when going to watch Leicestershire once, and Roger Tolshard, who was one of the Leicestershire star players, was fielding on the boundary with a pint of beer behind. and when he was, when he actually wasn't, he wasn't involved, he'd say, "Go on, pass my beer," and remember the crowd would just pass his pint of beer to him.
Was that the moment you decided to take up the game? Was it?
those were the days. Yeah. Those were the days.
It sounds like something that we have at our annual beer and cricket festival down at my local club in Oxfordshire, where it's almost pint behind the stumps kind of thing.
Yeah. But in a first-class game?
No.
Really?
Back in day.
Boynton's delivery is...
just a little deft touch there.
Yeah.
Going to get a couple for it. Robbins moving on to 35 now.
It was Benson actually bowled. Yeah, Boynton's taken himself off, so he's obviously going to be preparing to be one of the last bowlers for the Army today in this innings. Could be crucial.
Yeah, it's not good height that Benson bowls at as well. Doesn't make it easy for you to try and get on the front foot and get him away, does it?
Navy have moved on to 70. Good knock from Robbins on 35. He's got half of those runs himself.
Just stopping short there, Benson. We're just having a look to see what Robbins is wanting to do. Premeditation. Oh, and that's nicely flicked.
And that's
a lovely boundary.
Yeah. They did well with that. They needed that, the Navy. Just getting a bit stagnant, in terms of their run rate. They still need 75 to win, so they're not quite halfway there yet. 74 will equal a tie, so they're halfway to the tie, but they've only got 49. Make that 48 deliveries left, and that's another 4. That's going to go and beat the 2.
Beautiful shot once more.
The 2 fielders there, on one of them being Gabriel on that far side.
Very good at utilising that angle, isn't he, with those sweeps? Getting it behind his shoulder and also getting it through mid-wicket there, deep mid-wicket.
Yeah, and he's not trying to overhit either. He's almost just steering it in the right direction. It looks pretty comfortable.
Good work from Finlay Marks, captain, leading by example at the end of the 12th over.
78 for 3. Navy.
They left themselves too much to do. Just a few boundaries can make all the difference.
But Murray coming back into the attack from the nursery end. As we see Adam Fisher there, walking back from the nets on the nursery ground, heading back up towards the pavilion.
I must say it was great to get a captain's view, an ongoing captain's view of the game before his team were about to play. He came to watch the beginning of this innings, the Army innings.
Don't worry.
And
well fielded, and the batsman make it through anyway. He's always very measured, confined and focused. Adam Fisher, you can tell he's always thinking a lot about what is going on out there.
And it's, the vantage point from here is certainly beneficial to having a little bit of spy work before the game, I think.
He did admit that, actually.
Oh, and another pickup, really. And this time, Gabriel goes for it, but it'll be another 6. Or has he managed to keep it in? Gabriel's managed to parry that back.
That is brilliant fielding.
Fantastic
and that
fielding.
is precisely what you were just talking about a few minutes ago, Amanda. To do that was just unbelievable. I mean, that, for all intents, on the short boundary, that was going for 6. But somehow, he kept it. I think it went over, didn't it? But he, because he had his hand on it,
parried it back inside.
Yeah, he parried it back inside the ropes.
Yeah.
Brilliant
standing
fielding
from Gabriel.
That's some of the best fielding I think I've ever seen in a T20 here at Lords. From certainly at the, for the Army, just brilliant.
Acknowledged by all the supporters behind him as well.
Yeah, in front of the crowd there as well.
Yeah, very nice work. Just before he got his foot down.
One of my favourite international fielders at the moment, he's a pretty good player in general, but his fielding, Glenn Phillips, is astonishing.
Yeah. A number of times. Oh, and a chance here.
Oh.
Just misses the direct hit. Glenn Phillips, the number of sort of leaping salmon type catches he's made in the gully of late.
I know, and almost taking the catch behind him whilst doing a half a backflip.
That makes it look a lot easier than it really is, of course. Yeah, he's a wonderful player. Great all-rounder, Glenn Phillips. Oh, beautiful delivery by Pat Warry, moving the ball away from Finlay Marks.
Well, you have to say this has been a terrific performance from the Army, defending this total and making it very, very difficult for the Navy here, who still require the run rate creeping up to over 9 and over now required.
Should in for 2 here, imagine. Could be tight. John, that book of yours by John Arlett,
Yes.
we mentioned England and Canterbury yesterday. Is the author of that any relation to Emily Arlett, who made a debut for England?
Quite possibly. I mean, John Arlott is probably, for those people of a certain age, is probably one of the most famous cricket commentators. He was also a wine correspondent as well. So I think he sort of, his time, definitely Hampshire, definitely a Hampshire man. So never actually played, did John. Writer and broadcaster, born in 1914 at Basingstoke. BBC producer. He was also a policeman, believe it or not. He was a wine correspondent for The Guardian and lived on the Isles of Scilly. He also stood as a Liberal election candidate for 2 general elections in 1955 and 1959. Was unsuccessful in both, so he stuck to cricket commentary, which we were all very pleased about.
Certainly a very interesting life he must have had.
Fantastic, yeah.
What better combination of cricket and wine?
Absolutely right. And my father always said to me, just try and be like Brian Johnston, because
Donners, and another appeal from Jay Boynton.
And that's
given
given.
on this time. What a fantastic wicket for the Army. Robbins looking in fine fettle and gone for 44 now. Jay Boynton has quite a few appeals of late, and this one sticks.
And I think that could be a crucial wicket here for the Army. I think the balance, if you got the swingometer, has swung very much in favour now of the team in red, because that is a crucial wicket. And Jay Boynton getting his 2nd wicket of this Navy innings, and Robbins going for 44, just 6 short of his half-century, which is always for any batsman, it's heartbreaking, isn't it?
Yeah, especially when you've worked so hard to get to that point and hopefully carry the hopes of your team, and then just can't quite get that special mark in your batting.
That's right. So, and you can see how upset and how annoyed he is. He's chucked his bat on the ground there, and frustration really. But he's produced a really good innings, and but it might not be enough now for the Navy.
Nathan Hill, the new man.
Marks, the captain, not out on 11. And Hill's got to play himself in quickly. Again, the problem with T20, you just don't have time, do you, to want to get yourself familiar with the setup and the wicket and the bowling and whatever. There's just no time.
No, and the later in the innings, the less time for batters to come in. Just to have a look.
He's done well there.
And looking for a third, but no, it sticks to 2.
Yeah, Hill did well there.
Fascinating period in the game this is. 85 for 4. Boynton with that crucial LBW, I'd say, in terms of Army hopes. Getting Robbins for 44. And again to Hill.
Getting towards that 2 runs a ball required on the total. 64 required with 38 deliveries to go.
Just knocking it down there to the man sprinting in from the boundary at the pavilion.
Good intelligent play though there from Hill.
Well, we said it in the Army innings, didn't we, that Jay Boynton coming out as captain was going to be crucial. And now we've got Finlay Marks. Finlay Marks standing there. He's going to play a captain's innings here. Sweeping. Sweeping hard.
That's
behind
going
square.
for 4.
And 4 runs.
Well, he's played himself in very well, very quickly. Has Hill here, and also Marks now goes on to 15. Hill on 3.
A conference there between Boynton and his men.
So just 6 overs to go here, and still we have 59 required. Someone will probably have to start opening their shoulders a little bit before too long. It's just a question of whether it will be the skipper or whether it will be Hill. He's just come in and has made a good start.
So the array of players just making their way back from nursery ground.
Denson Narian then.
Wide that, but
Gets away with it, yeah. .90 for 4.
Ooh, just moving away there, beating the outside edge.
And this is exactly what the Army want now, this right arm spin. Pushed away well by Hill in the end. So they'll take 2 at least. Yeah, it'll just be a couple, won't it, they'll go for in the end. No, they're coming back for the 3rd. Yeah.
Oh, it's very good running. Very good running and threading the needle there, getting it through the gap. And powerful between the wickets there.
Yeah, that was fine running.
Sun just trying to break through a little bit more. Milky sunshine, I think you would say at this stage.
It's about as bright as we've had it all day, isn't it, so far here at St John's Wood.
Good to see. Rocked up first thing and hoped for a dry day and get all 3 matches in, unlike last year. And we've been lucky so far. Cricket has been brilliant to watch as well. Forced away into the offside. Denzel James there with the trademark sun hat that he wears.
Fifth ball of this over.
Oh, it's skied in the air. Now herring back to them. And
well,
what a catch!
Brilliant work.
Fantastic from Narayan. That's brilliant.
There were 2 of them. I thought they were going to collide with each other at one stage, but Narayan caught and bowled. That's one of the most unusual caught and bowls I've seen for a while.
Very difficult over his shoulder, but he held on. It was fantastic.
Yeah, and sadly for the Navy, Hill goes for 6. Obviously going for it. 94 for 5. Oh my goodness. How exciting.
Well, a game can turn, and high pressure can be applied, and well, that just went straight up in the air, but a difficult, as you say, a difficult chance.
Well, Narayan and Denzel James are almost running together, weren't they, at the same time to make this, coming from different directions.
Shoulder barging almost to take that catch.
Narayan says, "Hey, this is mine. Come on, mate, out of the way." So that's a great wicket for the Army, and so Jay Boynton just I can't see how he's looking at the moment, but I'm sure he's pretty happy about that, as the rest of the RAF players just wander back from the nursery end where they've been doing their warm-ups.
Oh, I don't think he got any bats on it. I think it was off the gloves, rather, of Wiseman, and he'll take a couple of byes, a couple of runs. I think anyway. Don't any bat. Was it wides?
Wide.
Yeah, wides signalled.
So the new batsman then is Ben White, successful with the ball earlier.
Very nice bowling there from Narayan.
Yeah, and the end of the over, and very valuable for him. 97 for 5, with just 5 overs left. The ball looking to me very much like it could be the Army's here, but Amanda, I don't think anyone's going to be counting their chickens just yet, are they?
No, I don't think you can in T20 always count your chickens. Anything this is still there for the taking by the Navy. I mean, just needs to keep their cool now, I think, and don't try and do too many things too differently, and just do what they've been doing, keeping that run rate down. Every dot ball ramps that required rate up considerably, like we experienced in the first game as well.
No over 10.4 an over required, and the captain is going to go for it, but it's a wide. Boynton a wide, so another run goes on to the score. 98 for 5.
Trying to swivel pool there and falling over there, Finley Marks. Back up again, face Boynton.
Most things rest on him now.
Take the reverse and managing a single anyway.
So it'll give the new batsman Ben White the strike. So he takes his guard. And Boynton for the has decided to go around the wicket this time.
Tucked him up nicely there, another dot ball.
It's in the air, and that's
Was that
out.
come off? That's another wicket for the British Army. Boynton with his arm aloft, and White has to go. Ball just ballooned up off what looked like a top edge.
Yeah.
And Army players just being told to stay off the wicket as well.
Naughty.
Naughty in their excitement.
Yeah.
So White goes without scoring, and 99 for 5 becomes 99 for 6. And suddenly it's getting a little bit desperate for the senior service here. And a huge credit has to go to the Army here, who had a disastrous start to their innings. But as we said, you know, in T20 things can change very, very quickly. They now need 50, and they only have 27 balls left. So we are literally talking 2 runs a ball, and that at any level of cricket is very, very difficult, isn't it?
Yeah, it's becoming a big ask. Marks is still there, so he has been anchoring this innings in the middle stages. Is he going to open his shoulders?
Hasn't got much choice, has he, really?
No.
Wickets are going on. Still got 4 wickets left, but you know, let's just see what Morris can do here.
Oh, that's gone through. The fielding attempt there. Gabriel cleaning up. Yeah, Mark's maybe in a similar position to Amanda Potgieter earlier. But, has to go for it, as you did earlier.
Yeah.
And,
101 has come from 94 balls in 64 minutes here, and has cost them 6 wickets. The Army, the Navy crossed the 100 mark.
Oh, that ball's gone up in the air as well. Now it's a bit further away this time, and Ryan
makes the chase.
Chasing after that.
Great bit of fielding.
Yeah, the speed to get to that ball was quite something.
Bit of assistance of the slope.
Yes. Which is difficult to tell, of course, if you in the commentary box here. It's difficult to see, but you walk across it, and it's so noticeable, isn't it, the slope?
Very much.
Just a single for the captain.
The over goes by. The clock is ticking. 103 for 6 of 16 overs. The Royal Navy chasing 149 to win. 46 of 24 balls needed.
You just think, what are those two discussing now? The witching hour has approached, hasn't it? Really, it's do or die for the Navy.
Yeah.
And I suspect we're going to start seeing a bit of hitting going on. Although very, very difficult, because the accuracy of the bowling of of Denson Orion, we've already seen, has been brilliant. I think Boynton, has he used up his 4 overs? I think he might have done. But the reverse sweep attempt.
Yeah, gets through it. The ball.
Of course, traditionalists absolutely turn if they're no longer with us, turn in their grave when they see the reverse, don't they? The reverse stance. It's not cricket, it just isn't cricket.
It leads to that debate, doesn't it? That most recent of debates, whereby some purists say that you're taking more of a risk when you play the reverses and the ramps and the sort of switch hits, and others. That's a beautiful shot. And that's through extra cover. And it looks as if it's going to hit the rope.
Going to go. Yeah.
And it is indeed. That's a timely 4 for the Royal Navy.
There's a great shot there from Marks, and the captain takes him to 22. He's faced 20 deliveries, so he's certainly doing his bit.
And a lead from the front. Ryan comes back in. Oh. Trying to ramp that over the top, and well, it doesn't get very far, but they will get a single.
Get the single. Just got to keep the runs going. I was once asked in an interview, what is the definition of a cricket purist? You mentioned that phrase, cricket purist. And the person, this is a formal interview, by the way. This is going back many, many years ago.
This is a great interview, that.
It wasn't a great interview, actually. It was.
Oh, sorry, John. Sorry, you brought it up, though.
It was a disastrous interview. But you know, she said to me, "What do you think in your view is a cricket purist?" And there were other people in this interview, and they just sort of all sat around looking at each other. And she said, "Oh, it's just someone who's played the game, isn't it?" They just, everyone looked at each other, you know. What is a cricket purist?
Did they get it confused with cricket player?
Yes, I think so. Yeah. This was clearly someone who knew nothing about cricket, who thought they were asking intelligent questions.
Cricket purist, yeah. Well, Denzel James handing his cap to the umpire, or his sun hat rather, coming into the attack.
Have you got a better definition for a cricket purist, John?
Well, you probably have to go across to the pavilion, actually, and meet and talk to some of the gentlemen and ladies over there who spent a lifetime watching.
But we're asking you, John.
No, well,
Amanda's asking.
A cricket. Well, I'm here to ask questions, not answer them. To be honest.
Oh, ducking out of it, weaving out of that short-pitched bouncer straight at him.
No, a cricket purist is someone who probably doesn't like too much change in the game.
Yeah, traditionalist of sorts, aren't they?
Yeah, and you know, a cricket purist would hate this idea of, probably if they're of a certain age, of T20, because it's a totally different format, isn't it, to the 4-day game in county championship or Test cricket. You know, it is a total. You know, a cricket purist is not bothered if a match after 5 days ends without a result. You know. which is drawn.
And, it's quite deceptive sometimes with his pace. He's a very, very good bowler, Denzel James, and even quicker, I think, than his action sometimes looks.
Yeah. So Marks and Morris, can they produce the goods here for the Royal Navy? Lieutenant Simon Morris, based at HMS Chillingsgold. Chillingsfold, rather. They've got enough time to do it, but they're going to have to get a move on.
Comes James. Slower ball, that's
well
wide. Signalled wide, that's what he was trying to do there. It looked like, was it the off cutter there? It was certainly a slower one.
And at a crucial time in the game, for a captain, it must be so frustrating when someone bowls, which adds an extra run and an extra ball to the innings. But
yeah, definitely not just for the captain, it's the bowler as well, and everyone else, to be honest. But hopefully you've got a good keeper behind that restricts it to just that one wide and not a few extras behind the stumps. But yeah, it is frustrating. Nobody means to bowl a wide. It just doesn't come
or a
out
no
right.
ball.
Or a no ball. Most people.
111 for 6.
Oh, trying the ramp there, and taking the Wiseman.
It didn't work.
Are there anyone around the ground standing on one leg? We are on Nelson. So any of the Navy people?
Well, we're having a good look here.
Yeah, we can see. The Navy lot, I don't think, anyway.
Might be a few in the executive boxes over there.
By the purists.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, he's really going for it, but great bowling again. Very intelligent play from Denzel James. All artillery gunner.
Yeah, he's an intelligent operator with bat, with ball, and in the field as well. Oh, and a thick outside edge there. Will find its way down to Worry, who's coming in off the boundary to fire that back to Wiseman.
Always good to hear from you wherever you are watching today. Our Forces News live coverage here on YouTube today on our YouTube channel of Inter-Services T20. One of the great sporting days of the year for British military sport, and it's a great privilege to be here at Lords for this and to watch what's a fascinating encounter.
Mix up there.
Yes,
and just getting home. Well, that could have been ugly.
That is the end of the
Morris
18th over, and well, it's getting to huge difficulty now for the Navy. They still need 37, and there are only 12 deliveries left. But to remember, 6 sixes. Sir Garfield Sober did that in the Test match back in the 60s, didn't he? Was it the story about the ball when he actually hit the 6-6? It went out of the ground and landed on the back of a truck, which was travelling back to London or something.
Yeah.
Maybe that's just folklore, I don't know.
Yeah, there have been a few instances of 6 sixes.
I don't think we've ever seen it in the IST20, but we've certainly seen, you know, some exciting finishes to these matches, when sometimes the momentum just literally carries from one team to another.
Yeah, I think the first time I'd seen it on TV was Herschel Gibbs in the World Cup in 2007, I want to say. I think in St. Lucia against the Netherlands. I remember seeing him hit 6 sixes. As you say, Gary Silver's a few years before that, of course. It's been done a few times since.
So Mohammed Patwari comes on for...
And it's a powerful shot, just as far.
Only a single, though. Only a single.
There's alert there, Sporus on the edge of that circle.
4s and 6s required in equal quantity now for the Navy here.
Patwari in again. That's very
That's
wide.
a wide.
Unlucky batsman followed the ball. Still too wide.
113 for 6. They need 35 to win. They have 11 balls left at the moment.
And skewed off the outside edge again and towards third man.
Well
Coming
fielded.
back, trying to come back, but they've decided against.
Two from that. Good innings from Marks here, 25 from the 26 deliveries that he's faced so far.
Just asking for some new gloves there.
Yeah, his magic gloves didn't do anything for Jay Boynton earlier on, but he was out the next delivery, I think.
It's not quite got the folklore of the... yeah, there's a jinx if you ever heard one. Commentator's curse. It's not quite got the same status, I don't think, in folklore as the match. Remember the days of the magic sponge?
Oh, yes.
Came to rugby and things.
Oh, yeah.
Just like a bucket of water and a sponge. It seemed to do the trick for a lot of stuff.
Well, I saw one in the Premier League the other day, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, it's wide again. It's another wide. It's a bit loose here from Patwari.
I'm just trying with the game, but basically the player, it was a Forest player, that's right. He looked really badly injured and had to be taken off the pitch on one of these carts, you know. And he came out for the second half. So
That must have been some magic spray and a magic sponge.
I think it was definitely a magic sponge.
Magic
and
spray on the
that
sponge,
is
and that's
4
it.
runs. No, it isn't. It's going to be...
Liam Fletcher there collecting on the boundary. Powerfully hit, back straight past the bowler. And towards the media centre. Sandwiched in between the Compton and Edrich stands, of course, these days. Oh, and that's going to be 6 runs. That's a beautiful strike out over Cow Corner, and well, timely as well for the Royal Navy. Lovely stuff from Finn Marks.
Yeah, captain stuff here from the Navy skipper. Takes him to 33. And 124 for 6. Just 8 balls left. Get a couple more of those and suddenly it gets interesting.
Oh,
That's a
beautiful
That's a
Yorker.
better line.
That's a well bowled wide Yorker.
Really hard to get them away, and the field is set for that ball by the look of it. So benefit of the doubt on those 2 wides. That's what he was trying, I reckon.
I'll take your word for that. Lovely shot, but it's going to find a fielder.
It's gone fairly square up there to Jake Benson.
And that is the end of the penultimate over. Just 6 deliveries to go and still 24 required. So they need, shall we say, a cricket score for this last over, don't they?
He had a Carlos Brathwaite type performance in this over. He did all those years ago to parole Ben Stokes in that that match back in 2016. 25, I think he scored off that over in the T20 World Cup. But I'll tell you what, Army will be hoping Denzel James just keeps it nice and straight.
Yep. So the field spread right out now. They know that singles and 2s are no good. It's boundaries that the Navy need. Finley Marks has shown that he's quite capable of hitting them. It's just a question really of what happens now. Big swing at
Are
that.
they going to turn for a second? Yes.
Yeah, they're going to make it. 2 more. 127 for 6.
Bit of gardening by Marks before the next delivery.
Yep, take your time.
Just upset the bowlers around them as well a little bit.
Yep. Denzel James then. Nope.
And now upsetting the batsman's concentration.
Getting his own back, was he?
Pulling out of that run-up.
Setting the umpire before too long as well. James.
Brilliant.
And see the
Fantastic
end
delivery.
of Finn Marks.
Yeah, well,
Hassled
yeah.
is the Royal Navy skipper. And,
A brave effort, though, you have to say, from Finley Marks there. Really brave effort, led from the front, but that was a majestic delivery, wasn't it, from the Army man? And so 127.47 now, and well, still need 22 off the last 4 deliveries. They could do it, but it's going to be 6s all the way now. Long boundary, short boundary, whatever. And you've got to say it's been a terrific defensive performance from the Army here, hasn't it? And you know, from the point of view of Jay Boynton, if this is going to be his last T20 here at Lord's, not a bad way to go out.
No, a very fitting game for Jay. I'm very happy for him to have done this well today and generally in his career, and of course fellow Remy soldier, so no, much respect for him, and really happy that the boys pulled it back today. As it stands, 4 balls to go.
I think you're on pretty firm ground here, Amanda, to be honest. Matthew Walton is the man who's come in. With Morris on 4, Walton to face his first delivery. Brave effort from the Navy.
comes James. Walton well,
spreads it out for 4.
Square, and goes for 4.
Turns to 131 for 7. 18 needed, 3 balls left.
3 sixes.
3 sixes. Or a no ball, a 4 off a no ball perhaps, or you know, a wide. But
5 wides.
The way that Denzel has been bowling here, he's just got to play it sensibly, hasn't he? Now
Yeah.
I'm sure that's the message that's come through. Just, you know, keep it firm and straight. And he's gone
once again.
Oh, is he blowing him some kisses?
I think looks like John Cena send off there, and well,
a little bit of sledging going on there, I think.
I suspect some words have been exchanged before that point.
One would imagine so. Yes, but
Yeah.
beautiful delivery again.
Yeah, we don't really need that, to be honest.
No.
The cricket purists would be very unhappy with that, with stuff like that.
Well, you miss, I hit there, and another wicket for James. What an over this has been.
Yeah,
it's
so he's got his second wicket, and that really is it, isn't it now?
Yeah.
The Army know that they're through, and they've won this game.
Slower delivery that time as well. His full array of variations, Denzel James.
But I'm sure this performance from the Navy is going to give the RAF something to think about, obviously, as we go into the final match, because obviously the Navy, if they beat the Air Force, then it suddenly we're into stats time, and we need to get Richard back to work this one out, I think. But obviously that is for the 3rd game to decide. But it's not going to be a sort of a final shootout then between the 2 winners here. The Army have spoilt the party from that point of view, and it's been a really excellent recovery from the men in red.
Also interesting, I guess, the way this tournament has gone so far in the 2 matches. 1 successful chase, and what looks like the Army defending their score as well. So, you know, it's not so straightforward in terms of what to do if you win the toss. I guess obviously today isn't Utilis Bowl, it's Lords, but it makes it very interesting in terms of tactics, I think, and strategy.
So just a couple of deliveries left then of this Royal Navy innings, and the man who's in is James Chadwick, leading hand, based at HMS Iron Duke. James comes in.
Far away again, Denzel James.
They just go for the bye, and so just 1 ball left. The Army are there.
Before this ball is bowled, can I just plug the next UCAF event, please, for the women?
Please do.
Yes, please.
It's on the 20th of June, Friday, at the Derbyshire County Ground, and it's a double header.
James coming in again, and well, just through the batsman. It won't be a wide, of course. And what a win for the British Army. Fantastic stuff. Boynton, arms aloft. He'll be superbly delighted with what his team have done here today. and handshakes in the end there as well. Good spirit between these sides ultimately, and wonderful defence of their total. It looked like they wouldn't get anywhere near 150. It was 148 for 8, which they defended. Royal Navy, of course, defending champions with a defeat in the first of their 2 matches today. And the Royal Air Force will be licking their lips at this opportunity they have to take them on next. Sorry, Amanda, we cut you off there, but
no, absolutely.
just to quickly return to that as well.
So on the 20th of June, the UCAF women will be playing at the Derbyshire County Ground in a double header. Theirs being the first game against Bowling Out Gender Equality, and that will be followed by a T20 blast game between the Derbyshire Falcons and the Lancashire Lightning. So if anyone is around to go and support them, I think it starts around about 1 o'clock, and free entry to the first game.
I hope to be there myself to see that.
Likewise.
One. But Amanda, thank you so much indeed for joining us. It's been an absolute joy having you with us in the commentary box here, and I'm sure that Si and I and everyone who's watched today have been royally entertained as well today by you.
Thank you, Amanda, so much. An absolute pleasure as always. Good to see you. I know you need to nip away as well soon, so we'll let you get away. And for all of you watching as well on our Force News YouTube channel, we'll see you very shortly, of course, for the final game today. And yes, thank you, Amanda, once again.
Thank you.
Don't go anywhere. We'll be back very shortly.